I want to do it because it's fun. It's fun to do bad things.
So did you know that you could perhaps kill somebody?
It's the greatest podcast in the world.
Yes, but I wanted to do hood rat stuff with my friends.
You don't think you should be punished for all of this?
Just a little bit, no video games for a whole weekend.
Oh shit, motherfuckers.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you have a fan.
I have a fan.
Argo J is liked. Oh, wait. Page is liked by. Oh, you like. Never mind. You're a fan of Argo J. Never mind. You don't have any fans.
I don't have any fans.
Not today.
Not today, motherfuckers. Not today. I mean, Argo J does follow us.
He does fuck with us.
Yeah, I mean, he is a friend.
He is a friend.
He is a friend. We do hang out. We do conversate.
That's right. So, Say I Won't Podcast.
Say I Won't Podcast.
Season 3.
Season 3, episode 3-ish.
3-ish.
3-ish. You didn't want to count one of them. So that's why I'm saying 3-ish. The
is
one that got nuked.
Yeah, nuked from orbit. Well, if it isn't there, does it really exist?
Well, it exists on Facebook, so it kind of does exist.
So it didn't get bounced off Facebook.
Nope.
Huh.
Nope. So just go for it.
I was going to say, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, we talked a little bit too much about the current situation, and we got kicked off YouTube. We got our video taken down off YouTube for spreading fake news, apparently.
Yeah. Is that what they told you?
No, but I've heard that from a lot of people who talk about it.
That's just speculation then.
Well, these are regular channels that...
Because they flag you as fake news or false reporting if that's what you do. This time they didn't flag us as that. They just said we violated the TOPPs and the OPPs and the NPPs.
And the you-know-me's.
And the you-know-me's.
Facebook isn't real. That's right.
It's all fake. Oh, speaking of Facebook, we did get a warning at the beginning when I was setting things up. Facebook and StreamYard are not really talking to each other. So although we can see your guys' comments, it is saying that when we reply, if we do it on the chat, it will not send it back to Facebook. So yeah.
All right. I'm in the live chat for the Gun Expert channel. There's no So I'm gonna go over.
Shit.
What?
You're not a man, so it's never happened to you? Oh,
What, you sit on your boyfriend's balls?
God damn. No, every once in a while, you take a drink and this little fucking tab grabs one of the whiskers and wants to fucking pull that motherfucker.
Yeah. It happens on my microphone sometimes.
Jesus.
Because I got to get right up close with my mic.
You don't have to.
Project
It's just,
my booming voice.
you don't have to. It just reminds you of your good times. So, two things.
One of these days.
Yeah.
One of these days, I'm just going to turn on you. And I'm going to say something really mean back to you.
Stop it.
Hey,
so-
Mario. I have not found your magazine yet. I'm still looking for it.
So, what up to Tad? As always, first one. Parker Crew is here. Mario, el motherfucker de España. Dave is here. Joel is here. Scott Pennington is here. John Flowers is here. What are you doing here, John Flowers? Dave Mays, Dominic, Stormy, Kate Lewis, Joel Antillon, Ryan Lou is here.
Can we say Lulu?
Lulu. I like his IG. It's Looney Bin. and IG. Casey Monson, Christopher Dean, Scouts is here. Motherfucking Scouts is here. So I got two things.
Okay, two things.
So dude got his legs amputated.
Which dude?
Some dude because of the COVID.
He got his legs amputated?
Yeah, legs amputated, and the doctor's like, "Hey, fucker, got some bad news for you, motherfucker. Good and bad, as always. All right, what's the bad? He's like, we had to fucking chop off your legs because of the vid, right at the fucking hip. He's like, well, what the fuck's the good news? Like, your dick touches the floor now. Hey,
talk about putting a positive spin on it.
And then the other thing is, one of the things I thoroughly enjoy doing as a manly man, of the manliest of men's, a pretty straight man, is
totally not compensating.
Is I like to scroll through the video world and find heartwarming videos. And there was one of this old man who was at his nursing home, and somebody made him a pillow with a picture of his late wife who had just passed away. And, you know, his reaction was pretty cool, and he grabbed it and fucking cried and all that shit. I'm not going to say whether or not I cried. And I sent it to my wife, thinking she's going to be like, oh, that's precious. She's like, hey, the girl that handed him the pillow looks like she's got a nice ass. So I had to rewatch the video.
Good point. Let's go to the replay. So real quick, we have a new name for the chat. I can't really say the chat room because there's multiple chat rooms.
Yeah.
You guys are all now officially known as the naysayers.
The naysayers.
And if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, maybe you'll understand what that means. And if you don't, then you're going to have to figure it out for yourself. So, but keep it to yourself, please. I don't want to read it. So, big news.
So the big news.
You got your period.
I got my period. Finally. I've been waiting fucking 35 years. Is that how old I am?
You've been waiting since you were a baby?
Since I was a baby. Waiting for that shit. The big news is we've got 3 classes coming up. You got a class going on tomorrow?
I got a class tomorrow and a class on Sunday.
Oh shit, you doing one Sunday?
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
If anyone shows up, I kind of scheduled it late, so I've only got 12 people signed up right now.
Yeah, well, we scheduled the one in Thornton pretty late, and that one has 46 people signed up.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, Sunday 14. Jeez.
So
your class tomorrow is 31 though.
Yeah, I know. It's not even that good. I need to get those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers. So we had a class last weekend, Advanced Concealed Carry.
Yeah, how was that?
If anybody's listening who was there, thank you very much for coming. Next time, there won't be so many people. We originally planned to have 2 instructors there, and we moved it down to 1 instructor. There's probably 3 or 4 too many people there.
Yeah.
So
it work.
It wasn't unsafe or anything. It was just a little slow.
Correct.
But I think culminated really well. It was Advanced Concealed Carry, so we finished with a concealed carry scenario that everybody did really well on, I think, by the end of the class. So some people weren't shooting so well, and some people were shooting a lot better than they thought they were going to shoot. And it went pretty well.
I want to know how the ghetto crew did.
Ghetto crew did good, although the female ghetto crew brought a Ruger target pistol.
Ooh-wee.
So it was about 15 inches long, and it was a challenge, but she actually did really well with it.
Well, yeah. How the fuck you gonna mess with the fucking
No,
the barrel? The barrel's basically touching the paper every single time.
Excuse me while I whip this out. No, besides the accuracy, she did a really good job handling that thing, even though it weighed about 58 pounds, which, if you don't know this, is kind of heavy for a pistol. So, hey, Richard, how's it going? Yeah, Mario, Patrick, Allie, Julie, Dave, Kate, Chris. Man, there's a bunch of people. I'm loving
EDC.
this.
It's
Yeah.
it's like there's some news that they want to hear about.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, so the rest of the class went well. I was afraid I left people behind because I had to change the rest area pickup at the last moment. If you can't tell, I'm stalling like a mofo right now.
Why would you be doing that, dude?
I just ran out of things to talk about.
It's almost like you were prepared to talk about one thing and one thing only today, and somebody texts you saying, "Hey, foo."
So I get to the rest stop, and I get to the barbecue because I switched the pickup spot to the barbecue joint. And
to the wheat
everybody
shop.
was there. Yeah, to the wheat shop.
The wheat shop.
And the ghetto crew was at the wrong place. They were at the rest stop. So I had to go over there and get them. Believe it or not. Believe it or not, I had to go over there. And then I had to come back. Did you actually send me a text, by the way? I didn't even see anything.
Yeah, I did send you a text.
I'm going to read it real quick. No, you didn't send me a text.
Yeah, I did. You want me to show you on camera?
Well, if you sent me one, I didn't get it.
Yeah, I sent you a text. We sent you a text. Ah, shit. That's because you got an iPhone.
I gotta refresh it.
You gotta restart that bitch.
So what's new with you?
Nothing. Not a whole lot has happened. Over here. Yeah, we're not gonna be able to stall that long. We're not gonna be able to stall that long. I know most of you guys are in here because you guys just want to hear about the horrible experience of being broken into. You guys are not here.
Hey.
Well, some of you guys, a lot of you guys actually are. So I gotta stop there. But there's a lot of you guys that are just here just to hear how miserable of a week we've had.
So
and to you, we welcome you.
You want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
So on Reddit.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man.
Somebody was
I don't even want to hear about Reddit, to be honest with you.
Well, I got two things to say about Reddit. One of them's bad and one of them's good. So I'll start with the bad one and I'll finish with the good one.
I never want to hear about Reddit.
The first one is somebody who's giving you shit because of a broken window, quote.
Because of a broken window, quote.
Yeah, they said you're changing your plans because of a broken window. That was the level of support.
Nice.
Yeah. But on the flip side, I was looking at all the upvotes and downvotes, and Edgar Antion gets a lot more upvotes than downvotes on Reddit.
On Reddit?
Yeah. His Craigslist hookup gets 0 upvotes and 0 downvotes. So it's all you.
Craigslist hookup. Yeah. Well, I'm not even going to talk about Reddit. They don't even deserve my.
No, they don't. But I had to point that out. The whole broken window thing. How retarded that is.
I will say this though. I had because last Saturday I did a class down in Colorado Springs, as one does a few hours after a car drives through their store. I did a class there, and one of the people there said they watched both of our videos and enjoyed my video better than yours.
No, they didn't.
Yeah. Not even bullshitting. Not even bullshitting.
Obviously, you did not get enough sleep.
Hey, I was awake, motherfucker. I was up. No sleep needed that day. I was up. So I'm not going to answer questions about what kind of car it was, license plates, and all that shit because it's irrelevant. Like if I tell you guys, oh, it was a truck, like what's going to happen? It's a lot of those questions that people have, and I know it's curiosity, and I understand it, I get it, but it doesn't really accomplish a whole lot. All I am actually going to say about it is a car went through the fucking window. through the storefront, not just the window, through the fucking storefront.
All the metal supports and window frames.
The whole front is gone. The whole front is gone. It's I mean, it's covered up right now. It's probably more, it has better covering now than it did before, to be honest with you. Because it has real shit.
But there's still not a sign out there that says gun shop.
There's
so
still not a sign that goes
It's
up.
going to piss people off.
It's going to piss, yeah. Well, especially now because we're not going to be doing that shit. But the only thing that I will say about it, and mostly because there's really not much of a story. I know people want juicy tabloid type shit, but I mean, there really isn't. Somebody at about 4:20 in the morning decided to drive their car through. My wife was able to kind of start the process of shooing them away and wake me up. The most exciting thing about the whole situation, if you want to call it excitement, was I sleep naked, motherfucker. So they had an option of getting cock or Glock. So
or both, the combo.
Or both, the combo. And yeah, they didn't steal anything. They didn't take anything. We were here. That's it. I mean, that's really the extent of it. So it was definitely a shit ton more than a broken window. We're not going to be doing retail anymore. We are just not going to be doing retail anymore, mostly because anybody who's been following us for a while, and I know there's probably one of you weirdos from Reddit, and not even the good Reddit, not even, because I know there's a few other ones, but the ones that hate me, that are very interested in because you follow me and you want to dwell on what I do. If you follow us enough, you know I hate the retail side. I have hated the retail side for a very long time. So my plan with the retail side for a very long time was just to get somebody else to run it, create a franchise type style. And it involved a lot more than what I could give it at the moment or right now. Saturday when this happened, before the cops even were here, I, in conversation with my wife, in calling the cops and fucking getting our thoughts and emotions in order, one of the very first things that I told her was like, yeah, we're done with retail. It's not worth putting up with the level of bullshit that we have had to put up with. There's a lot of I will say this, and this is probably the first time that I'll say it publicly in the video. There will be a very, very short list of individuals, and a lot of people are going to have their feelings hurt, but there will be a very short list of individuals that we will continue to process online stuff for and stuff like that. We're not going to keep an inventory where we're not basically we're going to set it up to where there's no guns here at the store. We will process private party transfers and shit like that, but it is a very, very small select crew. My wife is going to make that list. Co-op members are obviously going to be considered on that, but there's some co-op members where we'd rather give you your $100 back and never fucking see you again. And there's other individuals who are not co-op members that we're definitely going to continue doing stuff. So it's not a matter whether you're a co-op member or not. It's a matter of what your level of support was. Because there's a lot of people when this shit happened, emails instantly like, sorry to hear this shit. And then there's other individuals who are like, hey, how about that inventory? If you text,
so you're gonna be getting rid of that inventory, huh? Obviously, you got to get rid of it cheap, right? Don't forget me.
So all the people that immediately emailed us and didn't ask about how we were doing, didn't ask like none of that shit. Like you went straight for, hey, buddy, how about that inventory? You're definitely not on the list. Just know that.
You should get a Soup Nazi T-shirt, put on a white.
we have to do. We definitely have to do.
So I want to talk about the retail side for a while. Talk about why this has been such a challenge and why it's just not worth it. we all know that online is taking over. Amazon's taking over retail.
Oh, I got to address Richard Fletcher right now.
Okay.
I, as an anti-social individual, am 100% ready to start doing the fucking monthly meetups.
Yes.
So yes,
I
definitely.
thought about that today. I was like, we should just go meet at a park.
We should, dude. Just hold our penises.
Yeah. Everybody bring a sack lunch. Bring some Lunchables to share.
We should do it.
Yeah.
It's in the books. But anyways.
Yeah. So Amazon's killing small business. Walmart's killing small business, mostly because of online sales. And they're doing it on extremely narrow margins for a lot of things. But they're gathering market share in the Rona. Can I even say Rona?
I don't know what the fuck you say.
I don't know. Okay.
Ellie Smith said I
AIDS,
could have paid a little bit more. Nah, that was exactly what. No. The answer is no.
So the AIDS has further killed off small businesses and further helped Amazon and Walmart corner the market. You go to little boutique shops that sell the same type of stuff that Walmart and Amazon sell, but they're closed. But Walmart and Amazon, I don't know why Amazon is still allowed to deliver. They shouldn't be considered essential. Everything that you can buy on Amazon, you can buy at Walmart. Why do we have delivery people going all over God's green earth, spreading this AIDS,
Yeah.
And I'm saying that purely as this is hypocritical, not I really care. Like, I think Amazon should be able to deliver, and I think all these stores should be open. But I was at a local gun shop today here in Colorado Springs.
Which one? Not going to say it.
I'm going to say it. Springs Armory. And they have the cheapest overpriced FFL transfers in town.
The cheapest overpriced FFL.
They only charge you $20 on top of the $10.50 for your background check fee. And that place was hopping, but only with transfers.
Only with transfers, yep.
I mean, a few people bought, a magazine with their gun or came in and bought some ammo, but it was transfers. I was waiting for 45 minutes because of the line, and I had to leave because I had an appointment. I came back, and it was the same story when I came back. That's how these stores are surviving, is these background check fees.
Oh, no, dude, but there was a boom, dude. Like, we're like making money like hand over fist. And
dude, even their shelves were half empty still. They had probably 50% of their inventory for handguns. They had nothing for building your own AR unless you want to build an upper from scratch.
Well, here's what I presume is happening, because we seen this firsthand. We were doing okay. The retail side of it was not making a ton of money. It was sustaining itself, basically. It wasn't losing, but it was definitely not making anybody money. And you know this. It wasn't making anybody any money. And the panic hit, and there was all of a sudden a big fucking chunk of your inventory that kind of went away, which is cool, no big deal. And then there was weeks where you can't order anything. So the people that come in to buy stuff, so like for us, our stuff is all a lot of it was consignment. So we couldn't order new inventory, so we weren't really making money. And then now everybody's like, hey, pay me. So whatever money you had, obviously you owe to the consignment. And now you're stuck with about 85 to 90% of the money you did have to do reorders and shit like that is all gone, which was expected anyways, because it wasn't your money. It was you consigned it. So all that money's gone. So now you only had a small portion. And then the government is like, hey, buddy, but we did all those transfers. And one says, yeah, you're collecting money for it. Yeah, but it's a daily cash in, cash out type stuff. It's not, you can't, it's possible, but at this level, it's very impractical and not very efficient to have 4 different type of bank accounts, one for fucking the state, one for taxes, one. If it was at a larger scale, it makes 100% sense to because you don't have enough money to not pay fees on every single one of those accounts. Because if you open up 4 different accounts, not every month are you going to have $1,000 in background checks, or not every month are you going to have $1,000 worth of consignment money or what have you. So now you're paying fees just to maintain a bank account that you may or may not use. So now you can't order inventory, so you can't make more money, but all your bills are still due. Not only that, but some shops we didn't. We were fortunate that we mostly stayed away from this stuff. But a lot of people are on 90 days. But if you have nothing to sell, you're not making money. The reality is it was this revolving, for a lot of people, it's this revolving borrowing of money. Somebody pays for a gun right now, that pays for the other person's gun, because you're at a very low level of, it's basically, you don't live paycheck to paycheck, but you're living basically gun sale to gun sale.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, if you don't have anything to sell, so even Springs Armory, who was busy as hell, I'm sure they're actually struggling right now.
Yeah.
Maybe not as bad as GFE was, but still, it's not easy to make money when you don't have inventory. And it's not just the whole, oh, well, we don't have anything to sell. Like, there's bills to pay. And yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess for a lot of reasons. And because of your position that you would not charge more than the legal amount, there's no way for you to rip off the customer and make money on top of each transfer.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, so I mean, that's just the irony of that, though, of course, is you, the anarchist, are following the letter of the law. But in some way, that's you just being like, I'm not going to be hypocritical about this. I'm not going to rip people off just to pay my bills. If you can't run a business doing it honest, then maybe you shouldn't be in business.
Yeah, and that's kind of that's kind of been the struggle, because with us, that's 100% what we've tried to do a lot of the times. I mean, we've had people in here like, they expect to pay $100 more, and they're like, oh no, well, I was gonna pay $100 more anyways. They're like, yeah, but like, we're doing it for less, dude. Like, I could have, it wasn't ripping them off because they were agreeing to it, but
well, no, I think we can all agree a $35 transfer fee is a ripoff.
Yeah. A law or no law, by the way.
Law or no law. Yeah. On the other hand, though, too, I do want to point out that these local companies, it may be just a strategy of protecting their own business against the online, because we had this conversation about the gun that I wanted to buy. I messaged you. I was like, hey, I want to order this. And you're like, okay, well, I can get it $20 cheaper than if you just buy it right off the website. Because Palmetto State Armory just fucks with people, fucks with gun shop owners, and sells at God knows how low their margin is, but just to keep cornering more and more of the market, which is fine. Like, that is capitalism at work. But the problem is people get pissed off that their local gun shop is struggling. Oh, you just trying to overcharge me for this Glock. You charge me $525 instead of $480. And it's like, no, this is what a real retail place has to charge in order to stay in business.
Correct.
So
yeah. Well, and I don't know what the fuck I was gonna say. I was gonna say something amazing. It was incredible, and then oh yeah, that was kind of it. There are some places, I won't say whether it's that place or not, where for me, because when people bought a gun from us, like we would just do the state fee, like just the $10.50, and sometimes we wouldn't even charge the state fee, the $10.50, because you bought it from us, which makes the margins even thinner. But yeah, there's some places that you buy a gun from them, and even on top of that, they're still charging you $60, $40 for the background check, even though you bought the gun from them. So it's like it's this double-edged sword where it's just like you want to encourage people to support local, and then you hear about places where it's like, fuck, man, you don't really deserve local, like, the support. You just don't. So it's that 100% the double-edged sword. I will say this last thing about this whole thing, and then maybe we can move it on to something else. I know everybody's like, well, what the fuck else is there to talk about? We want to hear how you almost died. Is for everyone that asked immediately about inventory. It was the same inventory we had before we decided to shut down, and you didn't come and buy. It's the same shit we had. It wasn't much, but the same inventory we had before the break-in is the same thing, and it's at the same price. And other local shops have it right now that they're open and not deciding to close. So how about you go support them before they go out of business? I can't say, hey, go shop at the Reloading Zone anymore, because guess what? They're gone. They're gone. Can't tell you go to Tom and Joe's because they're gone.
So let me bring this up from a different angle. It's not the gory details of what happened, but it is related.
Yeah.
Got an email from the ATF a couple of days after you got broken into, saying that there was another burglary in Adams County, and then I saw something in the news that there were likely 2 crews going around hitting gun stores. So I just want to know how the Wheatridge Police Department contacted you to let you know to be on the lookout. Did they email you? Did they call you? How did they handle that? You know, giving you a heads up.
I'll answer this the long way with my experience with Wheatridge Police. So Wheatridge Police. So when this whole incident happened, it's weird that we stay at the store. So we stay at the store, and luckily my kids were not here that day, but my wife and I were. But catty corner to us, where Gunsmoke used to be, is an electronics place now. He does all kinds of old computer shit. So if you're looking for really cheap computer parts, not the greatest, but it'll work, it'll function. We've bought a few bullshit computers from him, and really good prices. It's called Zombie Electronics. That wasn't paid. It's just he's there, and we're talking about it. Well, he lives at his spot too. Him and his family live out of his spot as well. So as I shoot away the bad guys, as I shoot away, shoot. As I shoot away the bad guys in my undies, this guy was out there already on the phone with the cops. Got a description of not 1 but 2 vehicles. We told him, myself, my wife, and the dude catty corner to us, all told him which direction the vehicles were coming. To Wheatridge Police's credit, they showed up pretty quick. It didn't take them 10 minutes, 15 minutes. They got here. I don't remember 100%, but if I'm going to give it a guess right now, I'd say within a minute, the first car responded. So we told them which direction. And what did they all decide to do? Fucking stick around and just park their fucking cars in front of the store.
Hey, they're working a scene. They're busy.
So it's just like, we are telling you.
What's the code for busy?
We are telling you which direction they went. I promise you, it's the only vehicle with this description that has back end damage and is probably carrying half of my fucking glass on it right now. And
what time was this? 4:00 in the morning, when there's lots of traffic outside, so they definitely wouldn't be able to catch up to them in that heavy traffic, that heavy quarantine traffic.
Nothing. I didn't hear from them at all. And then Monday going into Tuesday, I was taking a shit. I'm on my phone, and I'm like, well, I should probably look at the cameras in Thornton, just to see how everything's out over there. Check the cameras, and I miss a break into one of my neighbor's units. Somebody broke into his unit, and I miss it within minutes. Like it just fucking happened. So I called Thornton PD, like, hey, this is what I just seen on the camera. Somebody broke in. They may not still be in there. I haven't confirmed whether they're still in there or not. Thornton PD shows up, fucking brought the dogs. Now, comparatively speaking, this dude, all he did was grab a rock or a hammer or something, break a glass, went in the store. That's all he did. Not to make light of it, but I mean, compared to driving your fucking entire car into a gun store, this dude went into a Boost Mobile where it's been closed since before the fucking shutdown, just because I think theirs was the combination of Corona and people not wanting to work, because it's usually teenagers that work that type of job. So no workforce. They're like, fuck it, not even gonna deal with it. Let's just close this bitch down. So there's nothing there. There's no money, nothing. But these fuckers, like perimeter in Thornton, perimeter, the dogs out searching for this motherfucker for something that was relatively petty, as opposed to trying to break in and steal guns.
Well, maybe Thornton PD was not afraid of the people they were looking for. Maybe that's what it was.
The fucking detective from Thornton PD followed up. He called because he wanted to get timelines. This fucker, they already knew who he was. They already knew that he had warrants out. Like they had already a whole fucking and if you watch the video, there's not much that I gave them. They probably have a little bit more, like a tiny bit more than what Wheatridge got. And these fuckers already like, yep, we already know exactly who the fuck this fucker is. We're on it. And I actually told Thornton PD, I was like, hey, dude, like, this ain't a big fucking thing, but if you know me, you know how I feel about cops, and the fact that you guys are doing this much for something so insignificant. I told him, like, Wheatridge Police, a fucker drove a car into my fucking store, and I haven't even heard back from them. Not even a follow up, not even a like, hey, this is what we're doing, not anything. And then the following
what did they say to that?
He's like, I'm sorry. All he could do is just apologize. He's like, I'm sorry, but we're trying to stay on top of the fucking.
It's like the professional thing to do in that situation is apologize and deflect. That's the professional thing. But a lot of times, man, I've had conversations with police officers, and I bring up somebody like DPD or Colorado Springs Police Department or whatever, and they're like, oh, those fuckers. Like, they're not shy at all about talking shit about other departments.
Yeah, it's funny.
Dean says it was an inside job with Wheatridge Police Department.
Yo, you're at this moment right now where everybody's a fucking suspect.
Yeah.
A lot of people that I didn't hear from that I probably wanted to hear from pretty quick after this happened. I'm like, why ain't you fucking
immediately going into that Scarface mentality? How come you don't call? Huh? Do you have something to do with this?
Yo, it just, I don't know. It's you're not wrong. It's that hood thing. I was talking to somebody last night. Like if I was in a different time in my life, I could very easily call the cousins in Mexico who are in the cartel, and they would find this fucker quick. Like, they'd have these fuckers quick. Like, no questions asked. Like, yep. The only problem is that you do that, and I already know. Now I owe them.
Mm-hmm.
Now
you're in their pocket.
Now I'm in their fucking pocket. So it's just like, is it really worth? Because I can't go into too much detail, but it involves fucking 55-gallon drums. And it just, I mean, at some point, I think in life, you just have to consider, like, what's the goal? Is it worth it? That's the decision that I made with the retail. the goal with retail was to expand it, to kind of franchise it out, to make something of it. And even in self-defense, we're always talking about there's a risk and there's a reward, and is the reward worth the risk? And this is what I argued every single time. People are like, you need a sign, and I don't need a sign. Like, if you really think about it, the amount of money that we're shelling out, which, by the way, those quotes started going up. Yeah. We were starting to get actual physical fucking quotes, and they're going up. Anyways,
can you pay an inventory? I have a bunch of trigger guards.
A shit ton of trigger.
Take those. gas tubes.
So the amount of money. So when people talk about like, yeah, but if somebody sees your sign, they'll come in and they'll buy a gun. And my logic to them has always been like, okay, cool. Out of maybe 1,000 people that drive by there, maybe one will come in and buy a gun, right?
Mm-hmm.
So roughly about there. If they buy a gun, you know how much money I made? Under $100.
Mm-hmm. Well, and also it's of the people who see the sign and stop. Like, that's just people filling up the floor space who probably aren't going to buy anything.
Correct. No, that's what I mean. Out of every 1,000, maybe one buys a gun. So that means that 10,000, 10 had bought a gun. And if we do 10,000, 10 times 100, that's only $1,000. Every 10,000 people, I make $1,000 off of them. That storefront is costing me a fuck ton more than $1,000.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when you think about it, like, it's not financially, it's not worth the risk to advertise that you sell guns like that. We prolonged it. I don't think we were ever really expecting not to get hit. It just, we were.
Well, Mario said a little bit back in the chat. He said that you and him were just talking about this a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
I don't remember that.
So, and actually, Cody told me that he was just thinking the other day, because he had just seen a robbery. He was thinking about GFE and was like, I hope it doesn't happen to them.
It's going to happen. It was going to happen, but it would have happened a lot sooner and under worse circumstances, in my opinion, had we had a sign.
Yeah.
So for us, it was just more of a.
Do you know of any gun stores for sure in the Denver metro area that haven't been targeted yet?
Yeah, but they just opened.
Okay. So even was Reloading Zone targeted?
Twice, 2 or 3 times.
Wow.
Yeah. Hammer Down was a couple times. Westminster Arms was a couple times.
What about 5280 Armory?
5280. Well, no, not that I know of. 5280 Armory, I don't think has been hit. I think they got their shit fucking like locked the fuck down. Bristlecone would be pretty difficult to do anything at as well.
They have the double doors at Bristlecone. It's the same story over at Specialty Sports here in the Springs. They got a double door set up, so you'd have to get through double doors. Plus, they already had the concrete pillars in front of the doors because it was a pharmacy before it was a gun store.
Correct.
So they didn't have to invest in those concrete pillars.
Yeah.
So, did you think about doing those planters in front of the Wheatridge location? Because you did them in Thornton.
Yeah, that's kind of the contention right now, where the landlords are like, well, you were being targeted, so you guys should pay for it. And then we were like, well, that seems reasonable. And then you start thinking about it, and then you start talking to insurance and all that stuff. And insurance are like, well, you guys have security at one location, but why not the other one? And then you tell them, well, we were allowed in one location, denied in the other location.
Really? They denied you in Wheatridge?
Yeah, the landlord here didn't want to change anything aesthetically, so they didn't want anything. They said maybe one pillar, like like not even in front of the door, but like between where the door jamb is, And when you really think about it, you spend all that money in one fucking Ballard, in a spot where it's not going to stop a fucking car. It's not even worth it.
Yeah. A couple other places are being brought up. I just want to point out that those pillars are not necessarily going to stop people. Because Green Mountain Guns put those Jersey barriers in front of their store, and somebody just showed up with a cement mixer truck and just went right through those barriers.
They pulled it.
They pulled them out of the way.
They attached the storefront to the truck.
Oh, and then just pulled it right through.
Pulled
it over the barriers or whatever.
I just pulled it open. So
yeah, with a stolen cement truck. So risk versus reward. I mean, if they pull it off, they're talking. That's a lot of very valuable inventory if they pull it off.
Correct.
And I mean, that's another thing is like it's not just competing with online retailers; it's dealing with this threat of vandalism and theft and burglary on a constant basis. Like you said, if you have a shop open, you are going to get hit at some point.
Yeah.
And like that is expensive.
Very, especially when insurance companies and everybody's like, nope, it's not my issue. Nope, it's not your issue. Like, it's just, you're left in this position where like, well, I only have so much money in the bank. And now all that money that I do have in the bank, I have a decision to make. I have a few people that I owe money to because of consignments, or I fix the fucking window, or the landlord's going to come up and like, hey, fix the fucking thing, or else you're going to get evicted. Because you still want to operate, you still want to. So now you're in this decision where it's just like, well, what the fuck do you do? Do you piss off a few people, ask them to wait until you get all the insurance shit squared away, or do you pay them and then not have money to fix the thing and then run the risk of getting evicted by the landlord? And then you can't operate at all, because then where the fuck do we do classes? And you're basically back to square one.
Square less than one.
Square less than, yeah. So it's right now it's a really fucked up situation. And it's just a matter of making decisions. And I mean, in 2 weeks, we'll be like, oh, okay, that all worked out. I have no doubt about that. But as of right now, in the nitty gritty, it's just like you're having to make some really tough decisions about all of that shit. So it's interesting times. The day it happened, we had a lady who had bought a gun, and she came to pick it up, and she's like, you're doing some emergency remodeling, huh? or my wife told her that.
Actually, that happened to me at Discount Tire. I went to get my tires fixed, and they had a new drive-through on the side of the building because one of the vehicles that was parked, it slipped out of park and rolled right through the side of the store. Yeah.
So my wife tells her, yeah, we're just doing some emergency, really emergent remodeling. And she's like, yeah, my parents own a restaurant, and they had to do one a while back because somebody decided to drive through their shit as well and steal shit there. So even restaurants that really realistically don't have anything other than just food.
Yeah, what are people going to do about this very simple method of breaking into your place of business? Like retailers everywhere have to worry about this. If you keep cash or inventory on hand,
here's the thing, even if you don't keep any of that stuff accessible to them, because a lot of people are like, oh, put your shit away. Like you consistently hear like the Boost Mobile, it's been closed. Like there's no cash in there. There's no the phones. Even when you yourself go buy a phone, like at Boost Mobile, because my kids got a plan from them, and you let them tell it, like it's a little cardboard thing that it's not even a replica. It's not even a plastic fake phone. It's a fucking piece of cardboard that you pick up, and it's a fucking picture of the phone, basically. So even then, like you have no cash on hand, no inventory, no nothing, and they're still gonna break in just for the sake of trying to grab something.
Yeah.
So for us, it just.
But this whole driving a truck through the front of your building, like, how do you stop that?
It's nearly impossible. I mean, you can. But we've learned that if they want in, they're gonna get in.
Yeah, I mean, short of building a concrete box with no doors or windows on it, if you can get in, somebody else can get in.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah. So Nate says the same. Is this the same thing that happened to Triple J at their old location? It's pretty much happened to everybody.
Everybody.
At almost any location. Shoot, even didn't Dick's get hit? Didn't somebody do this at Dick's Sporting Goods?
They did it at what's that big retailer?
Was it Cabela's?
Yeah, Cabela's in Lone Tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And those fuckers broke in, and the gun department isn't fucking near the fucking front of the store.
mm-hmm.
Like they did the same shit. They were able to fucking go all the way to the back of the fucking store, and go through their background check. Take the guns, and then
God damn it, 5-minute wait. Are you kidding me? Fine.
And then and yeah, I mean they still, I think they didn't take a shit ton of guns, but they took some guns with them. So
yeah. So Sean says it buys time just like any save. It's true, but when we're talking about time, we're talking about whether or not anybody decides to show up, you know, in response to the alarm or a phone call or whatever. You know, you said Wheatridge PD showed up pretty quick, but you've had several alarms where it's taken at least quite a while to show up.
The laundromat that's down the street, my wife, I think that's the one that she goes to. They got hit. Their ATM was, I think they tried to take that shit, and the dude that owns it said he got caught up in traffic driving there when he heard the alarm call the cops, all that shit. Got caught up in a little bit of traffic. He lives about 30 minutes away, got caught up in traffic, still got here before the cops. Doesn't even live in Wheatridge. It's just like,
dude,
came from a different city, and still made it there before the cops.
Yeah.
Well, when I went the Thornton situation, the last time with Thornton, it took him about an hour to get there.
Yeah, so people are posting links over on the Facebook feed. I'm going to try to copy them over into the YouTube feed so people can see them. But yeah, both Cabela's and Bass Pro got hit. And yeah, I mean, it's just like, it kind of like, in light of this information, it's like, maybe this should just all be online, you know?
Here's the interesting thing. When this whole COVID shit it kicked off, and we started, and the ATF said, hey, you can start doing this shit outside, like drive-through style.
Mm-hmm.
No joke. That's when we were like, okay, well, shit. Well, if we continue like this, we'll just do this. Like, we won't let anybody in the store.
Yeah.
Most of what we do is transfers or online stuff anyways, because nobody likes to support the local people, no matter how good you are to them.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like, we'll just do this. Like, fuck it. Nobody comes in. You don't have to keep a shit ton of inventory. It's kind of a win-win where we're able to help them. We don't have to stress about whether or not people support us or not. It's just they're here to.
So let me stop you right there, because there's a really interesting video on YouTube. It's pretty old. I probably couldn't even find it anymore. It's about a guy who owned a watch sales and repair shop. What's that? The California one? The guy who got in 3 separate shootings in his store, and his store is controlled entrance and appointment only.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not sure that would even help.
It's tough, dude.
And these were people who broke in while he was there. Like, you know, so it really doesn't matter. People know that you must have something inside there. You know, so yeah, it's definitely not.
So with all the negative, we got to highlight the positive.
Highlight the positive.
There's been a very small select of individuals who, not just emailed, and those I appreciate as well. Like when people email and say like, "Hey, I'm sorry," like obviously there's not much you can say. It's like when somebody dies, they're like, oh, I'm sorry. Like it's the polite thing to do or whatever, but at least you went out of your way to write something. Like it just, you went out of your way. You didn't have to, and you still went out of your way to write something. And then there's on top of that, there's more people who, we had this dude in Texas. He's in Texas. Now I should probably know who this individual is. But I don't, I've seen so many people, I just don't remember. Anyways, this guy, he DMs on Instagram, and he's like, hey, call me. Now his Instagram is like some sort of production company. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then the next day he's like, hey, dude, did you try calling me? I was like, no, man, I've been busy and all that stuff. I'll give you a call here when I free up. He's like, okay, cool. And then he sends me like a voice thing over the DM. So I call him up, and he's like, hey, dude, I just fucking bought a house in Texas. I'm going to try and get my money back, and then I'll move to Colorado. He said, I'm over the road trucker. All I need is a place to come in and fucking just hang out, just sleep there for a day or two. He's like, I'll pay for everything. You and your family stay there. So it's just shit like that where a lot of that happened, where people are just willing to help. The way we operate, people don't know. When Isaac does a class, that's his money. When I do a class, that's my money. You gave us all of the last week's. Now I know people are gonna be like, oh, well, that's your business. You're supposed to do. Like, Isaac really benefits nothing from
That's
the
not true. I get mad street cred. I forget sometimes. People are like, do you know an FFL? No, oh wait, yeah, I'm an FFL.
There's I don't know if they even want me to say it, but ironically enough, the liberal gun owners threw some money down to try and help for the thing, because a lot of these people they kind of know what the fuck we're dealing with right now, with insurances not wanting to do what they're fucking supposed to do,
right?
And how long that's going to take and all that stuff. So Dini, I appreciate the way he did it as well. So there's a few people that not just reached out, but went way above and beyond. Joel and Mari Flores, because when it happened, I had to go do that class.
Yeah,
I had to go do that class, and I called you like at 5 a.m. I didn't expect any response because you're at the ranch and there's fucking nothing. I didn't want to wake up the entire ranch, so I was like, yeah, fuck it. Like, I'll try. Because I was like, yeah, I'll probably cancel, see if maybe we can find somebody else. Whatever. Just think of something. Because I didn't want Letitia to be alone. Because it's one of those. It's not that there was danger at that moment. It's just you go through this really traumatic experience. Sometimes you just like want somebody to be chilling there, just mind off of it. So we're like, who the fuck are we gonna call him? Like, or me anyways. And there was a select few. We thought about the Trujillos, and I bring up the Trujillos only because fuckers didn't. We didn't end up calling them, but it's just like, they would have showed up. They would have been. They live in Greeley, so like, they would have showed up. We thought about a few other people that were not near, like nowhere near. But Joel and Mari Flores, they from La Prensa, which we do the show with, called him up at fucking 5 a.m. It was like, hey, here's what's up. And I don't, whether they had plans or not, I guess is irrelevant, but they're like, yeah, it's cool. It's not easy. I know for a lot of people you think it is, but it's not easy to like just spend a whole day, like just put your whole day on pause and be like, yeah, let's go hang out with the family. So that was appreciated. Mr. your your frenemy. I don't know what the fuck you guys are.
Yeah.
He's
He was in the chat room for a minute, but then I didn't see him again. Where'd he go?
he's the one that patched up the side. He does construction, he does remodels and shit like that. So he lives like fucking 2 blocks away from here. So I called him. I was like, "Was it you, fucker?"
Get your ass over here, fix what you broke.
So yeah, so there's a lot of people that were there ready to support. So that's appreciated. So with all the negativity and with all the shit that, because it's easy to talk shit, it's easy to do that stuff. It's not easy for me to get all mushy and all that stuff. I'm very emotional. My parents really fucked me up.
Do you cry at commercials?
Oh my God, dude. Depends on the commercials. You know what I cry a lot about, and I fucking on purpose watch this because I'm like, I want to cry right now. Is the people that buy the chroma glasses?
And they can see color for the first time.
Dude. Oh, I cry a lot.
Have you seen the ones with the kids who get the hearing aids and hear their parents for the first? I can't even watch those, dude. I can't even watch the preview for the video where the baby looks up at the mom. I'm like, oh, I can't do it.
So, and it's hard for me to express feelings because my parents did a number with me. So I'm gonna use this moment just to say thanks to all those people that helped out and didn't post it, didn't say, hey, this is what we're doing for this family. They just in secret were like, hey, this is for you. And it's not even financial. The homie Tom Snyder, he came down and he picked up some shit, and then he's like, I'll be back. Motherfucker showed up with Raising Canes. Brought some chicken.
Preach.
Like, and it's moments like that where it's just like, fuck, it's just chicken, but like right now it means the world.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because in the context of the whole AIDS epidemic we're going through, I'm just going to start calling it AIDS. It's funny because at the time, I remember when the AIDS thing kicked off, and there was just this kind of uncertainty that you might accidentally get it if you were playing basketball with somebody and somebody got elbowed in the face, and you got some of their blood on you, and all of a sudden you're going to have AIDS. Thank you, Magic Johnson, for putting that thought in our heads. But at the time, it was a real...
The thing is, that's where I'm getting my positivity from. Magic Johnson.
Magic Johnson.
He's always positive, man.
Always positive. Stays positive. So I'm just going to call it AIDS. Every commercial you watch right now, you can tell which commercials were filmed after the lockdown and which ones were filmed before, because the ones filmed before are like, here's a candy bar, we all love candy bars. And now every commercial that was filmed after this all happened, it's like shitty piano music playing in the background and pictures of people walking around in masks and pictures of nurses going into work and everybody's cheering them on. And if you pay attention to these commercials, you hear this one word over and over and over again. They keep saying it. And in fact, I fucking heard Hillary Clinton say it in a video where she endorsed Joe Biden. Surrender. That's what they mean. But the word that they're using is together. We're all together. We're in this together. We're together. I haven't felt so separate from everyone in my whole goddamn life, man. I go to my parents' house and everybody's afraid to hug each other, and we're not together. We're not together. I don't care how many times you say it in these commercials. We're not together. Correct. People are fucking narking on each other. There's a guy out there strangling a teenage girl because she's not social distancing enough. There are people narking for people walking on trails and not providing enough distance. Like, we're not together at all. Correct. But when somebody shows up and brings you a meal, I don't care what the reason is. People bring you food, that's together. That's like somebody just looking out for you. Yeah, you know? Dude. And people do that for all kinds of, you have a baby and and people bring you meals. Somebody dies, people bring you meals. You know, you're hungry, people bring you meals.
Yeah, and it seems like such an insignificant thing, but it's I mean, this idea of breaking bread with somebody is just it's crazy, dude.
Yeah, yeah, and
How
just
powerful.
it's like I don't want to get too like scientific about this, but from an evolutionary standpoint, like what better gift can you give to somebody than to give them food?
Yeah.
The idea of sharing food is pretty rare in the animal world because it's so incredibly hard to get, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think we're just hardwired to appreciate that when somebody gives you food. That's like the second best gift somebody can give you, you know? The first best gift that they can give you is their Netflix password. Nick says, try going on a job interview, not shaking hands and not wearing a mask and wearing a mask. Yeah, see, like we're not designed to operate this way. You know? I just don't this is what makes me think this is an experiment. Is this constant refrain we hear from people who are supposedly in charge of us telling us that we're all together, we're together, we're together, when that's so obviously not true. We couldn't be the more opposite of that.
Correct.
And we're just keep hearing it over and over again, like, no, I think we're not together. I think you're trying to pull some shit. And I don't appreciate it.
Yeah.
My son had surgery this week, and
I was very disappointed, man.
we didn't get a good video of him.
Oh, man, I was so expecting. I mean, outside of wanting him to be well and get through it, like I was like, I hope there's a good video.
I'm glad I didn't have the camera going very long because at one point he just ripped the blanket off of himself.
Oh.
And I would have had to delete that video immediately.
This is not supposed to hit the floor, motherfuckers. Yeah. No amputation.
I got good news and bad news. Let's just start with the good news.
No amputation. What's the bad news? It's still dragging.
It's still dragging on the floor. Yeah. But yeah, he was just kind of very disoriented. He was pissed off. He was trying to wake up and he couldn't wake up, and he was just getting pissed off about it.
Oh, dude. That's probably the way I feel when the very few times that I've smoked the marijuanas.
Mm-hmm.
This really frustrated feeling.
Yeah.
Where she's like, I can't wake up.
So the surgeon is a very personable person, and I saw him 3 times between the pre-op appointment and the actual pre-op and then the post-op. And, you know, like he just operated on my son. Like we have a small connection going there. I mean, we're not going to be friends or anything, but he was uncomfortable with the fact that he couldn't shake my hand, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, if anybody should be shaking hands, it's the guy who scrubs his hands so clean that they bleed. Yeah. Like, I think we can shake hands, you know? But it's so awkward. And I keep hearing people talking about how we're never going to go back to the way we were before, you know, and shaking hands is now a thing of the past and we shouldn't be hugging each other. Those people are your enemy, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't understand human connection. They don't care. They think everything's about being safe and not exposing yourself to danger.
They haven't seen, what's that movie, Into the Wild?
Oh yeah, dude.
That was a good movie.
You keep us separated long enough, we're just gonna all eat poison berries and starve to death in the wilderness.
And realize, holy shit, I do want to be around people.
But you know, we have a problem in this country with connection already. People would rather text each other than talk on the phone. People would rather not see each other in person. It's considered funny and cute to be awkward in all situations. We don't need more separation between us.
Yeah.
So I'm not down with that, dude. I'm gonna start hugging people. Like
Just
I'm gonna skip the handshakes now, and I'm just gonna go straight into hugging. That's actually how I grew up. Like I don't know how it is in the hood. I know a lot of handshakes happen in the hood, but where I grew up, Southern California, you fucking hug everybody.
Well, and that was really more of the Mexican thing. Like in the Mexican world, it's very similar to that. Where I remember going to parties and knowing like I don't know any of those motherfuckers, but everybody's like, you got to say hi to everybody. Like, I don't want to say hi to everybody. No, motherfucker, you're gonna shake everybody's hand. You're gonna say what's up. You're gonna know everybody there. Like, I don't want to know everybody because you're just a kid.
Yeah.
So even that is just like, no, you're gonna talk to everyone there.
Yeah.
You're gonna make sure you find everybody. It just, and then when you go to Mexico, it's just like you just met him and now you're already fucking kissing cheeks and shit like that. There's sometimes we're like, no, we the chick, is just like, let's do that again. Like, it's just, I really
yeah,
want.
That's what got me into it initially.
Like you.
There was these twins. They were a little bit older than I was. They were a couple years older than I was, but I would go to youth group and their dad hosted the youth group.
Yeah.
And this is where all the hugging started. And at first I was really uncomfortable with it. And then I was like, wait, I get to hug both of them?
Yes.
Wait, I could just pull this like, oh, did I hug you already? I can't remember. You look like your sister.
Before I forget, changing tunes completely, but kind of on the same tone of some people just love to follow the herd. So I forget, Saturday or Sunday. I don't remember 100%. It doesn't matter. The point is, people were coming in for their 15-minute blocks to do a class. Might have been Wednesday, whatever. And people sit down. We're like, hey, we're only going to take this many people. We don't give a fuck about the government, but all at the same time, we don't want to make everybody feel uncomfortable. So you guys do what you feel is best for you guys. This is what we want to happen. But if you guys are comfortable with doing more shit, then do more shit. If you're a couple and you want to sit on each other's lap, whatever, just re-emphasize we're more worried about your comfort than what the government has to say.
Mm-hmm.
Be safe, be all that shit. Do what you got to do. So sanitize the chairs. People start flowing in. People sit down, and then I start getting into it. I start asking people if they have questions about the video, blah, blah, blah. And some dude raises his hand. He's like, I don't know if I'm in the right spot. I was like, oh, this is the concealed carry glass. He's like, yeah, I just followed everybody, but I'm here to pick up my gun. I ordered it online.
Talk about following the crowd, dude. I guess we're all going to sit down and get our guns. What must have been going through his head the whole time you were talking about?
Yeah, that's what I told him. I was like, man, that was probably weird in your head. But like, this is a weird fucking way to get your gun. What the fuck are we doing here?
I would totally do that. That would be me, man. I'd be like, no, it's cool. I'm just going with the flow. I'm sure this guy knows what he's doing.
Like, wait a minute.
Sits down. Where's my 4473?
Yeah.
Are we getting? Why are we talking about the law? What? I want to go back to a couple of these comments. So yeah. Sean said, drag him in with the shake. I like that idea. I got to get a little coordinated with that. So just as a side story, I was at Disneyland a couple of years ago, and by some crazy coincidence, some crazy miracle, standing in line for Autopia, and I hear somebody say my name, and I automatically assume they're not talking to me because I'm 1,500 miles away from my house. Like, who the hell knows me out here? Yeah. And we're in Southern California. There's a good chance there's another Isaac around, and I hear it again, and my wife's like, hey, and I turn around, and there's this girl standing there who I grew up with, and she is literally right behind us in line.
Yeah.
Not like on the other side of the rope, right behind us. And so I go in for the hug, Yeah. And then her husband, who I barely know, but I have met him before, we're going for the hug too, because we're in Southern California and that's what you do. But being awkward about it and not very well practiced, I kind of shuffled my foot forward, and I think I may have ripped his toenail off with my shoe. Like, I felt my shoe hit his toenail and catch, and I was just like, and I was too awkward to say anything about it. And I was like, well, he doesn't seem to be crying, so maybe he's either just really tough or maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought. But to this day, when I think about that, man, I get shivers down my spine thinking about ripping this guy's toenail off
never
my
asked him?
shoe.
You never
So,
asked.
no, dude, no way, man. So, Casey says, I've been working home for the past month and this shit doesn't work. We've had virtual happy hours. Yes, I've done that. And game night online. I haven't done that, but I've done social hours online. It doesn't replace being around people. It doesn't. Although there's some stuff that's kind of fun about it, it's not the same as being with people. And Nate says, we're not going to go back. Everything's changed. Grocery delivery, restaurant delivery, movie straight to streaming, not theater, e-commerce, exercise at home, better eating and meals at home, family conversation, neighborly neighbors, virtual education for primary and secondary, people working from home. It's all different. I agree it's all different, and I think some things are permanently going to change. But if you tell me that there are no movie theaters left, I'm fucking rioting right now, dude. I cannot believe how much I miss going to a movie theater right now. I would not have guessed that I would miss that, but I miss it, man.
Yeah.
And I don't even, like, when I go there, I'm in a bad mood. I'm like, I got to fucking watch a movie with all these peasants. They're going to talk, and they're going to spill their drink and everything. And, like, but
You know, the
time,
only thing I miss is saying, hey, Tisha, we're going to go to a strip club. And then her being like, fuck yeah, we're going to go see some titties. And then maybe
it's like going to the theater. It's like a 3D theater.
Yeah. And then an hour before, like, nah, never mind.
Yeah. So Joel says drive-in moving starting to boom. I think this is going to be the best year that drive-ins have had in a long time.
Drive-in 88. So when that kicks off, go support them.
Scott says they never wash their asses. That's true, man. They don't wash their mouths either. Yeah,
drive-in 88. Go to that one.
Yeah, there's one at Pueblo I think we're going to go to, although I'm going to have to pack my new KS47 just in case.
If you guys are in the Denver area, go to the one that's over by the Mile High Flea Market. That Susan Kochevar is the one that owns it. Well, I'm not a libertarian, but she's a libertarian. So if you're into the freedom movement, she's I'm not going to speak too much for her, but I know she's definitely one of those live and let live. She's about your freedoms, and whether it be guns or being part of the gays or all that shit.
So Scott says bullshit. We need hugs and handshakes, and I agree, man. And the more I think about it, the more I realize, like, as awkward as hugging is, man, it makes you feel a little bit more alive than just a handshake.
Yeah. Oh shit. Alicia, hell yeah. You see that shit? That one deserves to go up. No, that's
you got to pin that one.
Oh, pin that motherfucker. Mostly just to remind her.
Yeah, so Casey says overhead's actually pretty high. We charge more for online learning. This is a complete different direction, but why the hell are online classes more expensive than in-person classes? That's always been the case, and I never understood it.
Yeah. I don't know. That's weird.
Alicia says people have to die. That's the way of the world. Watch last week's podcast. That's all Edgar said the whole time. Why are we worried about this killing people? Like, people die.
It wasn't last week. It was the week.
Oh, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, we didn't do this last week. Yeah. So, Richard mentioned open carry at a daily protest in Denver. Let's talk about that dude that got arrested for open carrying.
Jafar, the homie Jafar. So Jafar, he's been a student of ours, and I think for a while he was a big supporter of us. I haven't been able to find him or get in contact with him. But I do know who Jafar is. He was open carrying downtown Denver, and he got arrested. Why? Because he was probably the only one that was open carrying there. He probably thought he had the support of the entire 2A community, and everybody just left him hanging.
Yeah, not only that, but people calling him a retard.
Yeah. Do I miss soccer? Hell yeah, Ted Moyer. I miss soccer.
Yeah, that's another thing, man. Like, recreational sports, you can't do that. I was thinking about this. If we if I just got some people together to play softball.
Damn, dude, it's all your fault. Look at that shit. If you two would have done a podcast, I bet we would still have a window.
I was thinking about that because it would have been the same night. It was Friday night. It was early Saturday morning.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe the person who broke in would have been listening and would have changed their mind.
That's probably why it happened. Because like, you fucking skip a day, I'll show you, motherfuckers.
I wish we had fans that hardcore. Yeah.
Not really, but yeah.
Mike brings up a good point. I want to know why we're wearing masks outside. The virus dies 90 seconds after the sun hits it. Going back to what we talked about initially with this, when the AIDS really started kicking off and the confusing amounts of information, there's some really good information that's been coming out in the last couple weeks about the virus, including the fact that it does die after 90 seconds in direct sunlight. But the people who are promoting this information are getting kicked off YouTube.
Yeah.
And that is not a lie. Like, that stuff is happening.
Well, right now, that's kind of the frustrating part, is that there's so much information, so some dumb, even the stuff, even from people that I agree with, is just like, you sound retarded right now, dude.
Yeah. Like Trump.
and it's just so. I'm definitely in that mode. It's just like, I'll take it for what it's worth. I've seen the ones that I feel are the most retarded, though, in all of this, even if it comes from experts, quote unquote experts, is the stupid graphs that they show about, like, this is what happens when somebody coughs inside, and then they have like this 1980s fucking illustration of like somebody coughs and then it moves. So like, it's an illustration. I can make that fucking illustration fucking stop dead in its fucking tracks. Like, you're not proving anything to me other than you know how to fucking use Windows 95 and Paint.
Stick figures. By the way, okay, I want to just sidetrack for just a minute. I started watching this show on Netflix. It's called Norseman, and it's like The Office if it took place in the 8th century in a Viking village.
You imagine thinking about. Oh, I posted Alicia's. We'll get back to that one.
Okay, so it's like watching The Office, but in an 8th century Viking village. It is hilarious.
What's it called?
Norseman, Norseman, or Men, and so they all have tattoos. Like the Norsemen, they were all tattooed with stuff on their faces and everything, and so. One of the main characters, he's getting a tattoo on his back, and he's talking about how it's him and his girlfriend slaying a bunch of Britons in battle, and he's laying there being tattooed when this conversation's going on, and then as the scene ends, it pans to his back, and it's just 2 stick figures with swords and shields.
Funny.
Dude, I don't know for sure. I think you would enjoy this show.
I'm gonna try it.
Yeah. And the accents, all these people are Danes. Like, they're all Danish. If they're not Danish, they're maybe Swedish, but they all have really thick accents.
Yeah.
But they all speak really good English. So I guess the show is actually filmed in both English and in either Danish or Swedish. I'm not sure which one.
Yeah.
So everything they do, they must have to do it twice because it's not subtitled or dubbed or anything. And there's only 2 seasons out right now, but god damn, that show is funny, man.
I'm gonna have to try it.
Yeah.
Try
So
it.
let's talk about these masks for a minute. Because Wheatridge has made it a civil offense for you to be caught outside not wearing your mask if you're in a business.
A misdemeanor.
Well, I thought I saw that they weren't making it a misdemeanor, or maybe that was Denver.
No, Wheatridge is misdemeanor.
So I'm assuming you guys are all wearing masks, right?
Well, the detectives that finally showed up, guess what they were wearing in the essential business?
Gloves?
Nope, no gloves.
Nothing.
So
They were
they
naked.
they came into an essential business as law enforcement officers. No masks, no nothing.
Of course, yeah, yeah, because they're too important for that.
yeah. So, it's
So
a misdemeanor charge. As of Monday, Wheatridge's decision means anyone going inside essential business, like a grocery store, must wear a face mask.
or a gun store.
Yeah, people. Yeah, yeah. That's exactly what we want at gun stores. Is a bunch of fucking people wearing fucking masks. People
Yeah.
who don't could face a misdemeanor charge under Section 6 of the Resolution Number 16 Series of 2020 of the Serious Public Health Order.
Richard said the order exempts them. You mean exempts cops? I hope that's what you mean, because that is hilarious. The people who literally go hands on with with their quote unquote customers, they don't have to wear a mask.
Jesus.
In Illinois, it's a class 4 felony to carry concealed while wearing a mask. How about that? You know, Colorado does not have a law against carrying concealed while wearing a mask.
No law.
You can literally wear a bandana over your face while wearing a cowboy hat and riding a horse and carrying concealed, and you are not breaking any laws.
Yeah. Yeah, buddy.
So I want to get back to something that Nate said, which is you guys generally do a good job about not getting political. Is that hard to hold your tongue so you don't piss off your customers? Why don't you take that one?
So I know for me, it just never comes up for me. I hate politics in general. I mean, we do get political. I talk shit about Trump. You say how much you love Trump. And for me personally, on the whole politics things, as I caress my boobage, on the whole politics thing, for me, it started off with, because we did have this primarily on the Facebook, which is a gun podcast. Now, I think most people understand that we're no longer just a gun podcast, which is why we changed the name of the podcast from Guns for Everyone to the Say I Won't podcast. So for me, I don't like to get too political, because obviously I have an opinion about all that shit, but I don't like to get too political with any of the stuff, mostly because the page was about guns. So I want to keep it focused about guns. I don't want to turn into like other gun organizations who are like, we're a gun organization, but let's talk about abortion, or let's talk about gay marriage, or let's talk about, like, it's just, I don't, if we're a gun organization, I want to maintain my focus on guns. Now, with our new structure and the new way that we do this podcast, obviously, there's a different take, and we have the ability to get a little bit more political, but I generally just don't discuss that shit. Mostly because I don't give a fuck about politics too much. It affects my life, and when it affects my life, we talk about it and we rant about it and all that shit. Also, I'm even when you say shit that I may or may not agree with, I feel that it's necessary that I give an opposing view. And this is probably one of the very, very few times when I'm gonna admit this. There's sometimes you say some pretty weird shit where I'm just like, I probably agree with that stuff, but I feel like it's good balance to give from the other side, or vice versa. I may not agree with you, and I say I do, because I don't want, me personally, I don't want a show where we're just agreeing every fucking time, and then we basically become Sean Hannity, where it's just like, I'm going to say the same 10 things for the next 4 months.
Well, that's how you create like followers like sheep.
Yeah.
You know, is you just repeat the same thing over and over and over again. And I know that when we have conversations about stuff, I know on my side, and I'm pretty sure on your side, the whole time you're thinking about it, you're just like, how could I deconstruct this in a way I wouldn't think this way?
Yeah.
You know, like, how could I put this in a way where I would just challenge myself to not even think this? And I do that to myself, and I think we do that to each other.
Correct.
And I think it's important to, I mean, you could kind of summarize it as exposing hypocrisy, because we're all hypocritical. We're all, I mean, even I put my Chiron today was hypocrite.
Hold
I'll throw it up on the screen there. Because I was trying to come up with something, and I was kind of going for something with alliteration, and I was like, that's fucking stupid. And I'm like, I'm just a hypocrite. Oh yeah, hypocrite. There we go, hypocrite. I think the best thing you can do with your life is try to expose as much of your own hypocrisy as possible.
Yeah.
The more you expose it, the more you eliminate it.
Better too. Your arguments become much better.
Mhm.
Because now if you try and oppose your own way of thinking, because you know your holes. I know for a fact, and I'm not talking about just your buttholes. Like if you like you know your own ideological holes very, very well. So who better to?
You should know them, and if you don't know them, then you're playing games with yourself.
Yeah, you're very dishonest. Because there's plenty of times when I say shit, and there's times where you would understand your ideological holes. This is where it's tough, where it's just like, okay, I don't make that much sense, but I still believe the way I believe. Like there's a lot of stuff where it's just like, for me, there's the topic of immigration is just like I see a lot of stuff that I would agree with some people, and like, but no, I'm still gonna oppose it just because I'm gonna oppose it just because I get it, I get where you're coming from, but it makes sense, but I still don't like you, and I'm still gonna take my ball and go home.
Yeah, exactly. So Scott says, I don't believe half of what I think. That's a good way of putting it, man. Is like the ability to hold a thought in your head without being married to it as your belief. Man, my volume's still low. Man, I'm gonna jack it up a little bit. Thank you for saying that. All right. Man, all these thoughts are popping up. Number one, the butthole comment. There's a thread on Reddit, or there's a subreddit called Unpopular Opinions, and I was taking a piss and I was thinking about ways to troll that thread.
Oh man.
Or that subreddit, and I thought of one today which made me laugh, which is I think, like, if you wanted to post an unpopular opinion, if you don't if you don't look at your butthole at least once a week, there's something wrong with you. And so when you said that, I was just like thinking about how absurd that was, that I was thinking that. And I think if you
Chris, put that shit up on my quotes page.
On the quotes page. We got to link that. We got to constantly link that in the comments. I'll say what I'm going to say while you're looking that up. If you're not comfortable with your own hypocrisy, and I don't mean comfortable like confident and you're like, yeah, it's okay for me to be hypocritical. If you're not comfortable in recognizing your own hypocrisies, you're going to be really uncomfortable with other people's hypocrisies.
Yeah.
If you can chill out and just realize that you're a hypocritical son of a bitch and just understand that about yourself, then it makes it a lot easier to take it easy on other people when they're hypocritical. Because you just recognize that's part of the human condition. Life is way too complex for you to have everything figured out. Yeah. It's just way too hard.
And I think there's some situations where it's just there's just no right or wrong. It's just there's a perspective, and I think there's way too many times where people are like, nope, there has to be a black and white. There has to be, and there's just some circumstances where it's just like, no, you guys are kind of both right and kind of both wrong, and there's never gonna be a right or wrong. It's just different perspective.
Yeah, I was listening to the Rogan podcast the other day. He had a guest on who he's had on before. He's what's his name? I'm gonna find him real quick. Lex Friedman? No. Eric Weinstein? Oh shit! I don't like how Apple does this with their podcasts. Everything you've listened to disappears from the list. So you got to go to.
Apple doesn't do anything right.
I guess not, dude, because now I got to scroll through like hundreds of episodes.
I'm gonna start fucking spamming you with Rossman videos.
Who's that? I don't even know who that is.
That's the dude that fixes Macs, and he does it on YouTube. He's constantly getting fucking sued by Apple for fixing their shit and telling people how to fix their shit. because he's always telling motherfuckers, people go to the Genius Bar, and then the Genius Bar is like, no, your shit's fucked, and then they take it to him. It's like, no, it's just a little pin. We need to solder that shit again.
Speaking of which, dude, I spent an hour today cleaning out my charging port because my fucking thing wouldn't charge. Shoot, I just saw it, and Michael Shermer. And it was a really good episode. If you listen to the podcast, the Rogan podcast, but you don't listen to all of them, I would recommend episode 1456, Michael Shermer. It's a good kind of like well-rounded perspective, especially in the middle of this AIDS epidemic, of just being like, let's try to look at the whole picture. And we try to do that with everything. And to answer Nate's question about politics, like, I think the extent of our political discussion goes as far as what we're willing to actually live out.
Yeah.
If we're not willing to live it out, I really don't care to talk about it, So the abortion thing, I never talk about abortion.
Right.
Because I'm not going to have one, and my wife's not going to have one, because I had a permanent abortion. I had a vasectomy, so this concept, like, this is not going to affect me.
Correct.
Maybe in the future it'll affect me. I do have a daughter, maybe. But
here's the thing: like, I think you and I know how we feel about that particular subject, but like it doesn't bring any value to the conversation for us. One. We're just, I guess you already said it. There's no reason for me to repeat it. It's just, it doesn't really affect us directly. So now, doesn't mean we don't have a position, and it doesn't mean that we won't stand up for a certain position if the need arises, if we need to. But like overall, there's some subjects where, one of the things that we're fighting for in the Second Amendment community is we just want the government to leave you alone.
Exactly.
And for me, it's I can't say this is how I feel about this certain thing, so please government get involved, and then all of a sudden in the other subject, like, don't get involved. Get involved here, but don't get involved there. So for me, it's better to just shut the fuck up, because I'm not.
Yeah, because I think if you take your own words seriously, you realize you're going to have to be accountable for every fucking thing you say.
Correct.
And the less you say, the better, Here we spent a couple hours talking on a podcast, but, we're really, I'm talking about myself. I can be accountable for the things I say about myself.
Yeah.
Even if I'm occasionally wrong, that's okay. But if I try to take charge of everybody else's opinions and try to tell other people how to live their lives, it becomes a lot more complicated. And not that I never do it. I certainly do it. But my interest is more in, how do I live my best life? # best life.
Living your best life.
How do I stay accountable for my own shit? And how do I live the kind of life that I can be proud of? And everybody else, like, focus on living your own life the best way you can live it, and stop getting into everybody else's business. I mean, this is one of the reasons we have a problem with the kind of people who will go on the internet and not speak to your face about something, but would rather talk behind your back about it.
Correct.
It's like, dude, if you want me to fix this, come fucking talk to me, and, like,
Correct.
let's try to fix this. And if you
Correct.
don't, then you're just being an asshole.
Correct.
So, yeah, every idle word. I like that. Dude, you know what has taught me to keep my mouth shut the absolute most in my whole life?
Talking.
Talking, but having a family and having kids. Because 90% of the time, if I'm going to say something, it's probably going to be a negative asshole thing to say. And so it's better if I just keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
And so I sit there, like, we have dinner as a family pretty much most nights. We sit down, we have family dinner. And I sit there a lot of times just quiet, and everybody else is talking, and I just have little thoughts that come to my head. And it's just like, yeah, probably shouldn't say that. Probably shouldn't say that. Probably shouldn't say that.
Quite the opposite. I'm like, listen, motherfuckers.
I got a lot of problems with you people. So Casey asked about insights on the latest SCOTUS cases. The only one I know of on the SCOTUS cases is where they decided not to pursue the case coming out of New York about possession. And I don't really get heavily invested in those until there's a decision made, and even then, like on some level it is important, and on other levels, like I really couldn't give a shit. You know?
Correct. Yeah,
I
you
mean-
we're to this point where it's just like there's way too much back and forth, and I definitely got to a point in my life on the political side where it's just like I just need a break because there's way too much emotional investment in yay, nay, yay, nay, yay, nay, and you get to a point where it's just like, okay, this is not healthy for me to quit. So I need to quit dwelling on all of this stuff. And I think that's the biggest thing for many is just we just dwell way too much on shit that one, we can't control.
Mhm.
There's nothing we can change about it. Even on the political front, a lot of people are like, well, you can call your rep. Like we know that's not going to do anything. Emailing and voting really doesn't change anything. It doesn't really influence anything.
Showing up at the Capitol with fucking rifles and walking into the Capitol building, doesn't do anything.
I don't. No, not really. I mean,
that's what happened in Michigan. They showed up to protest the stay-at-home order. They walked into the Capitol carrying guns, and the governor says, "All right, we're going to extend it even further." Like she's basically daring them to do something more than that.
Called their bluff.
Yeah,
called their bluff. There was one funny meme that I seen, and it was funny. So in the spirit of not getting political, we're going to get political.
Well, it happens.
It happens. And I can't say I don't agree with the sentiment. I may not agree with it completely, but the original meme that I seen was, it was a picture of a black dude getting arrested, and it said, white people, he should have followed the law, and then Mexicans being put into immigration prison. Oh, they should have followed the law, and then a bunch of white dudes in front of the Capitol not following the rules.
Oh,
saying we're not going to follow the rules.
Your rules are stupid. We're going to do our own thing. So my attitude basically about all of this stuff is, am I willing to break the law or not?
Yeah.
And if I'm willing to break the law, then I don't really give a shit what they do. And if I'm not willing to break the law on something else, then I really don't give a shit either.
Yeah.
I went to we were just talking about Disneyland. I carried an illegal concealed handgun while I was in California.
The whole time
I was there, except when I went into Disneyland, because that was private property.
Because that's when you were fucking kicking motherfuckers in their toes.
Yeah. I got other weapons. I'm not just relying on my 38. But my attitude was like, am I willing to protect my family or not? And if I am, then I'm just going to do it, and I'll deal with the consequences if they come.
Yeah.
And if I'm not, then I need to stop saying that I am.
Correct.
And so carrying a gun, and I'm like, this is just what I'm going to do.
And by the way, in Vegas, you were breaking the law too, or in Nevada. Nobody calls it Nevada. It's just Vegas. They just need to switch that fucking state's name to just Vegas.
Yeah. So, my attitude is basically, what am I willing to do? And what does the Supreme Court really have to do with that?
Correct.
Now, on some level, there are things that happen that are really outside of my control, like when they vote on tax things, like I can cheat on my taxes to some extent. If I really want to follow the courage of my convictions, I could cheat on my taxes to some extent. But some of it, you can't really cheat your taxes unless you're willing to go completely off the grid. And I'm not willing to do that, so I need to just shut up about it.
And pay your taxes like the good little fucking tax.
That's right. Because either I'm willing to do something or I'm not. And to some degree, I'm not willing to do what it would take to not pay any taxes. So That's like that's kind of how I approach the whole political thing. And when you approach it like that, you realize you have a lot less to say about it.
Yeah.
Because either you're gonna rat yourself out or you're not. So, when people start talking about things that
Yay, Sean's back. We were waiting for him. We knew he was gone, so now we can start the podcast over again.
All right. Where did we leave off? Minute 27. So I want to talk kind of change topics here. I want to talk about content moderation on YouTube. Somebody Casey just brought up Guns and Gear, which I think is isn't that guy, that bald dude? Mr. Guns and Gear, is that the same channel you're talking about?
Oh, that old fucking retard.
No, he's not old.
No?
No, he's like our age.
Oh, that's old.
Well,
then I'm thinking about the wrong one. I'm thinking about that old fucking hillbilly dude with the fucking long.
Oh, I know that guy. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I can't remember his name.
Which hooch is it? Oh,
Yeah,
is it somebody here on the fucking whatever?
Oh, he said Guns and Gadgets. Well, I'm going to talk about Mr. Guns and Gear because Mr. Guns and Gear did a video recently about content moderation on YouTube, about basically getting shut down for this and that. People want to talk about how YouTube is being unfair about this shit. First of all, you're choosing to participate, so let's just get that out of the way.
Correct.
The other thing is, these decisions about content moderation are made by people who are basically working in sweatshops, except instead of putting together Nikes for 50 cents an hour, they're moderating content for just above minimum wage. They don't even work for YouTube. They work for contracting companies.
Correct.
And I was reading this really good article. I'm going to put the link in the naysayer room, the chat room, so all you naysayers can read this. And it's kind of long, but it's really insightful. And I definitely encourage you to go read this. If you at all care about people getting banned on YouTube or videos getting pulled out of YouTube, you need to read this article. So I'm going to quote something from this article. So this is talking about how the people who are actually making these decisions are they go through QA, quality assurance, and QA is basically the last word on it. And if they want to raise a dispute, they can go and fight QA on it. But basically, they're going to lose whether they fight it or not. So what's the point? Not only that, but it takes precious time away from your quota. So you have to make a certain number of decisions in a certain amount of time. And, if you don't, you'll get fired. So from the article, if a quality assurance manager marks Miguel's decision wrong, he can appeal the decision. Getting the QA to agree with you is known as getting the point back because they're rated on points. In the short term, an error is whatever a QA says it is, and so moderators have good reason to appeal every time they're marked wrong because it's totally subjective. Keep that in your head. Sometimes questions about confusing subjects are escalated to Facebook, but every moderator I asked about this said that Cognizant, which is the contracting company, one of them, managers discourage employees from raising issues to the client, apparently out of fear that too many questions would annoy Facebook and consequently get the contract canceled. This has resulted in Cognizant inventing policy on the fly. This is not YouTube. This is the contractor. They're inventing policy on the fly. When the community standards did not explicitly prohibit erotic asphyxiation, 3 former moderators told me a team member declared the images depicting choking would be permitted unless the fingers depressed the skin of the person being choked. That's just an example. Like, people want to get mad at YouTube about this, but this is a scaling issue.
Oh, shit.
As much as you hate YouTube's rules, a lot of YouTube's rules are coming from lawsuits and from Congress and things like that. They're trying to follow the rules and they're trying to appeal to advertisers. And so what any company would do is they're going to farm this work out to contractors, and the contractors are not getting perfect guidance because it's a moving target. And so so when they're talking about moderating this content, it's literally a judgment call by somebody making $13 an hour, and then checked by somebody making $14 an hour, and their only goal is to not lose the contract.
Yeah, not even to get it right.
It's not to get it right. It's to not lose the contract.
Correct.
And so when you get pissed off at content moderators on YouTube, realize you're participating in an extremely flawed system.
Yeah.
And either you're going to take it or you're going to leave.
Yeah.
There's really no middle ground.
No. And I mean, we have to, and then you have to admit that right now these are the better platforms until we come up with a better platform and actually make it work. Because I know there's people that are going to talk about other platforms and they'll post them up in comments and all that stuff. But it's just overall, they're not good platforms. They're not, or else they'd take off and they'd be very, very successful. But there's no alternative to YouTube right now. There's no and I get it that there are companies that exist that do shit similar to YouTube, but at the end of the day is YouTube is top dog. So that's why everybody uses it, and there's a way to benefit from it instead of there's a lot of people who have made a very, very nice living by basically saying, cool, YouTube, you're going to take all this shit away from us, but we're going to use your own terms and services to fuck you but in return. Ways that there's no way, because there's a lot of people that have their own attorneys and shit like that, and read over the terms of services, like here's how you can fuck over YouTube. So you can still use the platform, but all at the same time, not really make a shit ton of money for YouTube, and you make a fuck ton of money in other ways. So there's ways around it.
There's ways around it, but also I want to point out something I've pointed out before on this podcast, which is we need to remember. Yeah, I've definitely pointed that out. We need to remember what YouTube initially solved for the internet, which was a repository for video content that you didn't need special software to watch.
Right. You don't have to fucking download Flash drivers anymore.
Yeah. So prior to YouTube, for people who don't remember, you would get sent a link to watch a video, and half the time you go to click on the video, and either it would take forever to load, or it would be in a format that you needed to download some kind of software to watch.
Right.
And that was a giant pain in the ass. And YouTube fixed that problem by basically presenting all of their content in a format that almost every browser can handle. Right. Now, in the age of whatever we're in, Internet 3.0, you can host that on your own. You don't need YouTube to host that video content. If you've got a blog, if you've got content you want to share, it's not that hard to share it on your own, and you don't have to ask for permission for the shit you share. And if somebody like Mr. Guns and Gear, which I respect, I like the dude, he puts out good videos and he's a smart guy, but if he wants to bitch about getting his videos banned on YouTube, fucking start your own website and host your shit there, dude. And you can put a donation link out there, and people can go out there and donate if you want to make money off your videos. You put out good content, people should be paying for it. Yeah.
So the biggest problem right there, though, is if you do that, I've got a video right here that, I mean, it's relatively long. So, I mean, not every video is going to be like that. But if you want good quality to 2020 standards, I just clicked on a video. It's maybe an hour long that I made, 36.9 gigs. So now you need
how long is this video, dude?
An hour long.
At what? At 4K?
This one is 1080. 1080, so it's only full HD. It's not even ultra HD. It's just 1080.
There's something wrong there, dude. I say that because I recently downloaded 1917, which is that World War One movie.
Yeah.
And I purposely went out and found the biggest file that I could find
Yeah.
to go watch it on. And it was in Ultra HD, which is basically between 1080 and 4K. And it's a 2-hour movie, 2-hour plus, and it was 16 gigs.
Yeah. So this one's not compressed, not anything. It's whatever. I'm not going to justify why the fuck it's 36.9 gigs. But even at 16 gigs, if you've got a video, one video that is 8 gigs, 9 gigs, because you want it to be decent quality, fuck, even 1 gig, and you want good hosting, that's going to take a lot of money for you to do proper, or else you're going to do one video and then have to drop another video just so that you don't, because I don't know if you guys have tried to price out how much a fucking server costs, or I guess you can host it internally and then.
Yeah. Okay. So basically what you're asking to YouTube to do is do your heavy lifting for you for free.
Correct.
And it's like, if you want to ask them to do that, then you're going to have to follow their rules.
Correct.
And if you don't want to ask them, if you're not okay with their rules, then you're going to have to fucking nut up and put together something that works.
So even the tech YouTube channel is like arguably one of the biggest ones, Linus Tech Tips. That fucker probably has the money to do all this shit, but it's not worth his financial resources. He's created servers and he's got a server and all that shit for his videos internally and meetings and all that shit. He has the technological knowledge, money, all that stuff. And guess where he's at still?
Well, because it's free.
Because it's still YouTube. It's still he's found out other ways to make money via. I mean, he's not only on YouTube. There's other platforms he's on, but
so basically the idea here is that it's cheaper and more cost effective to use YouTube. And I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah.
But you are making a trade. You're making a trade there when you say, okay, I want YouTube to carry the load for me. But I don't like their rules.
Yeah.
And it's well, if you don't like the rules, then be prepared to carry the load.
Correct.
They're a company. They're the yeah. Or as Joe Biden said, I'm going to give you the whole load. I wish I had that link. I wonder if I can find it.
Dude, I'm waiting.
Probably not on the fly.
I am so waiting for those debates.
I didn't think that they were going to happen, but apparently they are. And
oh my God, I'm so waiting for those fucking debates, dude. Our fucking Mr. Orange guy and this guy's like, well, I don't know how the orange man's my watch is going off. I don't know if my shoes are tied. Like, what the fuck did you just say, homie?
Dude, the No Agenda show is constantly ripping on Biden, so I get all the highlights on a regular basis, and I'm just like, there's no way the Democratic Party does not know that he is not equipped for this job. They must know. They must know.
Oh, by the way, we're changing subjects.
Yeah, we're changing subjects. Although I do want to come back to the internet.
Let's go. Let's just go with the internet.
Okay, so coming back to the internet, I had some thoughts about this the other day. But basically, you remember the days of America Online, right?
Oh yeah, you've got mail.
You've got mail. So America Online was basically. Well, do you remember the internet before America Online? Do you remember the internet even before browsers?
I heard white friends talk about it, but I never got to experience no browser internet.
Okay, so no browser internet was pretty straightforward because you had to know where you were going. Otherwise, you couldn't go anywhere. So if you wanted to go to a bulletin board or if you wanted to go to a server, you had to know what you were doing and you had to have a reason to go there. And that's what drove your internet traffic. If you didn't know it existed, you couldn't go. It was basically it was kind of its own walled garden, so to speak. Like, I want to go check out this university server. I want to go check out this bulletin board. So then we get the internet browser experience, which is basically like, hey, if you're a website or if you're a server or whatever, and you want to be seen, we've got browsers now, so people can find you
Netscape.
if they know your name. So that you type in a name for a browser or for a website, and hopefully you'd find it. This is before Google, so it was still kind of hard to navigate your way around. But it kind of expanded the whole landscape. It was this idea of like, oh, you can go anywhere now. Now that you got a browser, you don't have to know an IP address just to go somewhere. Well, this created a lot of freedom, and what AOL did was like, you know what? People don't really want all of that freedom. They just want to be spoon-fed the internet.
Yeah.
So that's what AOL was. They spoon-fed you the internet. You didn't wander outside of AOL. They just gave you news. They gave you communities. They gave you your email. And they gave you the kind of experience that you would expect like walking into a grocery store. When you walk into a grocery store, you don't just see miles and miles and miles of unprocessed food that you can go and make your own food. They either have stovetop or they have the store brand of stuffing. They have the store brand of chicken, and then they have Tyson chicken. You don't go out and kill your own chicken and make your own chicken. So AOL was kind of that grocery store experience of the internet. And people got kind of tired of that because they got tired of AOL telling them exactly what they could do when they realized there's this whole world out there.
Yeah.
So we have this whole .com burst on the scene. There's websites everywhere. You can make money, blah, 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 blah. And again, you get to that whole, like, there's too much out here. There's too many things out here for me to focus and concentrate on. And so right around 2000, well, basically when MySpace popped up, MySpace, Friendster, Facebook, YouTube, these started popping up, and people were like, oh, I can see the whole internet, but I can see it in a very spoon-fed way.
Correct.
And this is why I think people have a hard time leaving these platforms, because it manages the internet for them.
Correct.
The internet is fucking huge.
Are you saying people are lazy?
People are lazy, man, and they can't process. Yeah, GeoCities. They can't process this kind of freedom. They just can't process it. So they get stuck in these walled gardens of Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Reddit, whatever. And it's curated for you. The more time you spend on these platforms, the more you see stuff that you want to see. And the more time you spend on there just being like, oh, this is cool. I like that. That was funny. That was funny. For some reason, all of a sudden, YouTube knows that I want to watch NASCAR videos. I don't know how they knew this, but now I'm stuck watching NASCAR videos on YouTube. How did they know that? How did they know
forced to watch NASCAR videos?
They're not just NASCAR racing videos. They're like the craziest fights in NASCAR, or, cars that flew the highest.
I like how you're justifying that. Now, wait a minute here.
Exactly.
It's not just NASCAR.
So it's too much to take in. There's too much out there. So you're okay with being spoon-fed the internet, but you want to bitch about it at the same time.
Correct.
You want to tell YouTube that they're not doing a good job of spoon-feeding you the internet.
You guys are basically like your children. Your children are like, fuck my parents, they're a bunch of assholes. Hey, Dad, can I eat?
Yeah.
Can I have food?
Yeah.
Hey, Dad, can I? But fuck that asshole. When I'm a dad, I'm not going to be like that.
I may or may not be going through that exact scenario right now. Oh, so my words aren't good enough for you, but my food is.
My food is, huh?
So these aren't going anywhere. It's gonna get worse. It's not gonna get better. People are gonna start leaving Facebook because basically the Facebook demographic is going to start dying off. But that doesn't mean the idea of what Facebook provides is going anywhere.
I got to address a very, very serious question here. Am I loading mags? Mags have already been loaded. I don't know how many fucking mags are in here. I don't know how many times I can fucking shoot, but we are ready.
Every time I load up a bunch of mags, I end up regretting it. because I end up changing my mind at some point and I have to unload those same magazines. So I've had these 20 round magazines, these 20 round AK mags loaded in my gun safe for literally 7 years. And I get this new AK and I pull them out and I'm like, well, I want to use these mags, but they're all loaded for end of the world type shit. So now I got to unload these mags. I don't even know what these rounds are. I think they might be steel core. I don't even know.
Someone's going to find out, though.
Yeah.
So I used the loader that you gave me, or we were going to sell it here at the store.
Yeah.
The wood one. That's fucking worthless.
It's so worthless. And I get the guy.
A fucking worthless thing.
For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, it's one of those wooden mag loaders where you put all the rounds into a track and you put the magazine in and you shove all the rounds into the magazine at once.
You're basically loading your mag twice, though, because you have to do it like one by one, put it in the fucking track, and then you could do all 30. Like, basically what you want me to do is the same thing I'd be doing with the fucking magazine.
Yeah.
But on this fucking track.
Yeah. The only good thing about the track is that it makes a cool noise when you load the mag. But and I don't want to discount the craftsmanship, because the guy who made that thing gave it to me.
Yeah.
And you could tell like he put, a lot of effort into it. And
absolutely.
It's very well made.
Yeah.
And he's not the only one making them, but it's definitely a complete waste of time.
Correct. It is a gimmick, to say the least.
Yeah. So Nate says, buy more mags. It's an easy fix. That's true. But I mean, at some point you have to stop buying magazines.
Because you have more mags than you know what the fuck to do with.
I have more mags in their packages than mags I use. For sure. That's definitely true. So, where did I get 20 round mags? I bought these magazines probably a decade ago. I have no idea where I got them. They're 20 round AK mags, Romanian. They're badass. I don't know where I got them. So anyway, to sum up what I was talking about, there are plenty of cool places to go on the internet, but nobody knows where they are.
Yeah.
But that's probably for the best, because you don't want those places getting too much attention. Because they're going to get shut down,
get ruined. And you know what? That's kind of what on the retail side, bringing it back full circle, for Guns for Everyone. I think that's where we were going. We were like getting to this point where just had we continued, it would have been really cool for the people that stuck around and kept supporting us and stuff like that. And then you just get to a point where you have way too much saturation and you have too much shit to make it function the way it should function. So I had this idea of creating a co-op with the intention of just doing that. You have enough people in this co-op buying stuff from the co-op, not from outside sources, and then you can keep the price points really, really low, because you're basically doing a PSA. Basically what you're doing is creating a buy group. You call it a co-op or whatever, but it's just a shit ton of people getting together, pulling their money, and be like, because we all order at PSA levels, we can keep those prices down. We can go directly to Glock or Smith & Wesson, but it quickly turned into this, oh, well, I'm just going to buy into the co-op and abuse that situation and not really feed the co-op. I'm just going to feed myself through the co-op. And benefit from the co-op instead of being a cooperative, though, the way it should have been. So it was great until you get an extreme amount of numbers where it's just they're not, and it sucks to say it this way, but they're not using it the way it was intended to be used. So now you have to create way too many rules and regulations to the point where it's just like, well, it defeats the whole purpose of even existing.
Sean says nonprofit gun shop.
I mean,
it kind of is.
It kind of was a nonprofit gun shop. Like, there's many times where people are like, really? Like, why is your gun so much? So like, listen up, motherfucker. So I pull up our dealer thing, and I'm like, this is what the fuck we're making. And they're like, holy shit, that's what you pay for the gun. I'm like, yeah, motherfucker, I'm making $30 on you. Like, if you think that, and we haven't accounted.
That's one expensive car wash.
Yeah, like we still haven't paid shipping out of here. Shipping's going to be like another $4 to $10, depending on the gun and situation. If we order more product with it, then it obviously reduces the cost of shipping per item. But we're making $30. That's really nothing. That's nothing. Because if you consider we have to take it in, we have to inventory it, we have to put it in the system, we have to advertise it. It's really not that much money. So kind of half jokingly saying nonprofit gun shop, but I mean it kind of was. And to a certain degree, if anybody knows me, like I would have been okay with making $5 off of a gun. But you get to a point where it's just the people that bought into the co-op weren't really using the co-op the way it was meant to be used, to the point where it's just like it's getting to a point where it's just not even worth continuing and rewarding people that don't want to fucking continue using it.
The co-op is designed to work off customer loyalty. All their shopping should be done where the co-op is.
Correct. That's why you buy into it.
Right.
Yeah.
But what ends up happening is people are like, oh, free transfers. Sweet.
Correct.
And then all they just come in and get free transfers all the time.
Correct.
And that's not sustaining. You have to, the whole point of a co-op is to invest into the co-op.
Well, and that's why most co-ops require a fee up front. Like you're buying into this because you need to buy into it.
Right.
So I bring this up not for any other reason, just to say it's just the greatest of ideas get ruined by the masses. Like it just a shed ton of Constitution. Yeah, a shed ton of people who have an opinion about how they think it should be ran and what they think. Like you didn't risk everything for it. Like you want to change even the Constitution. Like it's easy for you to say, "Oh, I'm going to change this bitch. I want it changed." Motherfucker, you didn't. You weren't freezing your ass off in the middle of fucking winter fighting
Valley
a war.
Forge, yeah.
Like fucking fighting your ass off. That's why it's very easy for you to be like, oh, I just want to change this piece of document, because you don't know what the fuck it took to make sure we kept that document.
Yeah.
When you start a
remember
YouTube,
that quote from Jefferson, "The tree of liberty needs to be watered from time to time with the blood of tyrants and patriots."
Yeah.
People need to sacrifice to understand what it means.
Yeah.
And if you haven't sacrificed, how could you possibly know what it means?
Yeah. Correct. To answer Casey Mons, maybe limit the amount of free transfers. We don't have to worry about that because there's going to be no transfers.
Yeah. That's problem solved.
problem
so,
solved.
When we do the classes, we get a chance to say stuff like this in the class. Although, I mean, we don't kind of put it in these words, but the same idea is like, hey, we are here for the people of Colorado. And I've started telling people in our classes, we've trained 40,000 people over the course of the last 10 years. By the end of this year, it should be 50,000 or close to it. If you want to take credit, donate.
Yeah.
You can take credit. I tell people, you can tell everybody it was your idea. I don't care, because at that point you're invested.
You're invested, yeah.
And if you can't donate, that's totally fine. But like if you participate in this, you can take credit.
Correct.
But if you haven't given anything, then all you got was a free certificate and you're on your way, which, I mean, we understand that that's going to happen.
Correct.
That's part of the deal.
Correct.
But at the same time, the reason we're here after 10 years is because people participated.
Correct.
And sometimes people participate with $2, and sometimes people participate with a whole lot more than $2.
Correct.
But everybody who donates participates.
And here's the thing: is there's people, very very few, not a ton, but there's people who continue coming back to classes, and that's their participation. Same thing with anything else that you really want to be invested in and want it to work and function. Like, I don't bitch too much about YouTube. Like when YouTube shut down my daughter's channel, what did I do? I just recreated another one and just, I wanted to know where we fucked up and how to avoid that stuff. So, because I want to continue participating in this stuff. I may not agree with everything that they're saying, but it's there. I know I would run YouTube differently, but I didn't invest in YouTube. I have no right to go to YouTube and be like, hey buddy, like I can do a better job at running this bitch because I didn't cough up billions of dollars to fucking buy the servers or billions of dollars to do any of that stuff. For me, it's just I'm just using the fucking product, and I'm gonna try and benefit from the product as much as I can. And here's the thing about this whole YouTube thing: the only way you can benefit from it is by contributing to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that says a lot about everything else in life. Is if you really want to benefit from anything, you have to contribute to it.
So this is probably not a good analogy, but it popped into my head anyway. When you go to the zoo, do you bitch about the fact that you can't climb into the pen with the animals? Or do you go pay your fee at the zoo and go stand at a distance and look at those animals from a distance? Like, I know that friggin' anteater's not going to kill me.
There's a few animals where I'd be like, I'd like to fucking smack it a little bit. Be like, oh, you're so cute.
those monkeys that they have in the cage over by the island. If most of you guys are in Colorado, but if you're not, the Denver Zoo has monkeys in cages. And you can get close enough to actually hand them food, although you're not supposed to. But those monkeys get a little sassy. And I kind of would like to get in there with them and just see who's the bigger man.
Yeah. Or the eagles. Those are cool.
Yeah. But, it's like you pay your thing at the zoo. I would love to climb into the pen with some of those animals, dude. I'm not worried about getting hurt. Like, I'm not going to go climb in the hippo pen. But some of those things, I'm like, I could totally get in there with them. But I'm going to follow their rules because I'm in their zoo.
In their zoo.
I'm going to do their thing.
Yeah.
And if they don't want me climbing over the railing, then I won't climb over the railing.
And then I also don't want some bitch murdering me and then saying, nope, don't know what happened.
I don't want to get some gorilla killed, right? With my reckless attitude.
With your reckless attitude.
Go steal some orangutan's baby and just be like, oh, it's so cute. So Dick's out for Harambe. I have no idea what that means. I
you
know
don't remember
Harambe.
You don't remember the hashtag?
I don't remember Dick's out for Harambe.
You know?
No.
Oh man. People got stupid with Harambe.
I remember people getting stupid with Harambe. I do not remember the Dick's out for Harambe.
Yeah.
So ride a giraffe. I think I could actually get in the pen with a giraffe. I think that they would leave me alone. I'm not going to try it, but I think I could do it.
You can go in there and be like, you want a neck, motherfucker? That's neck.
Get into a mating ritual with them where they hit each other. Have you ever seen that? The way the giraffes
dude, that's just crazy.
Smack each other.
They're fucking 10-foot long fucking.
That's crazy.
Neck just swinging at you.
So a good punch utilizes the leverage of swinging your arm.
Yeah.
And this is why kicks are so much more effective than punches, is because your leg's longer than your arm.
Correct.
And it weighs more, but really you can get it moving a lot faster because it's longer. Like,
that torque.
Times that by a factor of like 10.
Yeah,
and then attach like a big heavy weight like a giraffe's head to it. And that's what they hit each other with, man.
So the interesting thing, or the more slightly amazing thing, is when you see the fucking lions jumping on those motherfuckers. Like, I don't give a fuck, but like we want to eat the shit out of you. Which is how I feel with a lot of ladies. Like, I don't give a fuck if you kick. For all the right reasons. I just remembered we're in the Me Too movement.
Yeah. Speaking of the Me Too movement, all these people who are hardcore anti sexual predators are all of a sudden apologizing for Joe Biden and saying they support him, despite the fact that there is zero evidence exonerating him.
And it's going both ways. All the people that were supporting Kavanaugh they're like, no, we should believe this chick. Like,
exactly,
it's happening.
100%. Again, zero evidence that he actually did it.
Yeah, and now they're like, no, let's hang this motherfucker. And all the fucking Biden are like, no, we should believe her, or no, we shouldn't believe her. with the Kavanaugh situation, they're like, "No, we
That was way too long ago. Nobody remembers that long ago.
Yeah,
Oh, this
shit's
was
good.
93. I remember that like it was yesterday.
And this is what you guys got to do. Like, I don't give a fuck if you're a Republican or a Democrat or whatever. You guys like have to sit back and be like, I need to be objective about this shit. Like, if I supported the Kavanaugh lady, I can't remember her name, or then I have to realistically, objectively speaking, support Tara Reid. Which when I heard Tara Reid, I was like,
I know,
"That
I was
lucky
like,
motherfucker." And it's not even like the whole sexual assault thing. Is like he had her as an intern. Like, what the fuck? Like, because I don't care about her drunken days, but like, damn, dude.
She was cute.
Yeah, hell yeah. And then I found out it was somebody else. But anyways, like if you supported that one, you kind of have to support Tara Reid, Democrat or not. It just, or vice versa. If you were vehemently against the fucking Kavanaugh lady, then you just keep that energy the same.
Yeah. Oh, it was just one drunken night decades ago. Who remembers that? That was just
Tara Reid remembers that shit. If she
Yeah.
did get groped, I'm pretty sure she remembers that shit.
So I believe Joe Biden is a creep, and I believe for
dude.
sure that he felt up some women.
Oh,
I also
for sure.
believe that Trump is a creep, and I also believe Trump took liberties with women.
Oh, yeah.
Although I think that the women involved with Trump probably would, in the moment, were probably more willing participants
Correct.
purely for the dollar signs.
Correct.
This is Donald Trump. Donald Trump wants to feel me up. Like, he was never a good-looking guy, but back in the 80s and 90s, he was a lot better looking than he is now.
Yeah.
And he's a supposed billionaire, and he wants to fill you up. Yeah, I would do that. Like,
Oh yeah. If Oprah said, "Hey, dude, I want to fucking touch your winky for $1,000," I'd be like, "Hell yeah, you could touch my winky for $1,000."
Yeah.
Does that make me a prostitute? Yes. Do I like it? Yes. Do I encourage it? Yes.
So I'm sure both of these things happen. I'm sure that they both happened. What I think might be different is the women's attitude in the moment.
Yeah.
Which was like, this is Joe Biden. Like, he is a fucking scumbag.
Correct.
He's a dirtball. He's not even rich. Like, I'm not
Correct.
going to let him touch me.
Correct.
You know? Whereas Trump, and I'm not trying to say that all women are gold diggers, but a rich man knows a gold digger when he sees one. I'll tell you
Correct.
that.
And you know, whatever, you got to respect that hustle. I do anyways.
Dude, you know what? There was also evidence that what's the name of that attorney general, that gay attorney general, the female? She was under Obama. Maybe it wasn't attorney general, because I know Holder was one, but she was like doing the same thing. And that never made it out. She's like she's the proctor of some university now. God, she's some like hardcore dyke. And I don't
Janet
mean
Reno.
I don't.
Janet Reno.
You would think it was Janet Reno, but it was not. And I don't mean dyke in a bad way. I mean like this. She's just a bull dyke. Like,
Tisha, you got to defend your fucking. You got to defend your crew.
Defend your honor.
You know, it's so weird. I say that, and I know how I mean, I don't know 100%, but my wife, I'm gonna repeat it. She probably gets tired of me repeating it, but she's part of the gays. She's lesbianese, and never has she been one of those like, oh, you're using that word. Like, oh my God, I hate that word. Maybe at the beginning, towards the beginning when I said fag a lot.
Mhm.
Because she took that as me not liking the gays, not understanding how we use the word. But she's never been like that. She's never been like, oh, you can't say that. That's not a cool word. She probably says it more than me.
Yeah. Well,
anyways, irrelevant, but
that
I felt good about it.
I like, I'm not trying to be derogatory when I say it, but when you say dyke, everybody knows what you mean when you say dyke.
No, when I say, I throw a lot of motherfuckers off because I'm like, hey, can you hand me the dykes? And they're like, what the fuck? I was like, well, you guys call them wire cutters.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, so you guys call them wire cutters. I think we did this already, didn't we? I feel like we've already done this.
I don't think so.
Like if you Google these are dikes. So
is it spelled the same way? Is it DYKES?
Yep.
Dikes, wire cutters.
There you go. So these are dikes. So when I say dikes, this is what I think of.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So lead dikes.
Dikes tool. Wow, that's an interesting Google search.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, buddy. So I throw a lot of motherfuckers out. Hey, hand me the dikes. Like,
well, when I hear the word dikes, I think butch haircut and flannel, and I also think a big wall that holds water back. So it's kind of the same thing. Right?
Big what?
Big walls of dirt that hold water back. A dike.
See, I've never heard that as
what?
that. Yeah. I'm not that white.
To hold water. What?
See, you're having to describe that motherfucker way.
Well, that's what a dike is. A dike is a structure made of earth or stone that's used to hold back water. That's the literal definition on vocabulary.com. Not
the first time Edgar has Googled that.
It's also a verb, to dike. To hold back water. Although it is spelled DIKES.
No, and the other dike is DYKES.
Yeah.
And the little boy who kept his finger in the dike. Wow.
Yes. Saving the village.
Tish is probably like, where's this dike and how do I get my finger in that?
Censoring dikes. Oh my God. Women in comfortable shoes. Yeah, I take my eyes off the naysayer chat room for just a minute, and all of a sudden it's just jokes.
Look at that. Tisha, they are always in the closet too when I ask for the dikes.
Where are the dikes? They're in the closet. See, the thing about dikes though, they're not in the closet. That's why we call them dikes, because we can tell.
You can tell. I don't know. There's been a few that came here and they're like, you definitely munch on some fucking carpet. And then
you ask them,
and then they're like, hey, do you eat fucking vajij? And they're like, nah, like I fucking take the schlong. I mean, they say it in a more appropriate manner, but yeah.
You don't actually ask them, do you?
There's been a few times where like I just gotta ask, are you gay? And then there's been a few times where like, nah.
So I was watching this show on Netflix, which I'm not going to recommend because there was a lot of messaging in it and a lot of propaganda in it, but it was interesting. And it was like called 100 Humans or something like that. And it was a bunch of experiments that they did on a group of 100 people. And one of the experiments they had is they had three couples. They had three guys and three girls. And they, try to pair these up, just looking at them, pair them up, and everybody paired them up like this guy with this girl, this guy with this girl, not realizing that two of the guys were gay and two of the girls were gay. And like one person out of the entire 100 got it correct. But those two girls did not look like a couple.
Yeah.
They looked like two girls who like maybe kissed another girl in college and thought it was fun. Right. But now they're 25 and they have a kid with their husband,
Yeah.
I was like, that's a pretty mean trick. Like you can't put two girls together who both of them look like they're the skirt in the relationship and expect people to guess that they're both gay for each other.
It's I don't know. My gaydar's pretty all right.
My gaydar's not very all right.
Mine's all right. I don't know how the fuck we got into this conversation, but my gaydar's pretty cool.
My gaydar's pretty cool. Put that on the quote page.
Put that shit on the because for some reason, my wife's dad shot nothing but fucking gays. Because all her siblings are either partially gay or full blown gay. Every single one of them. She's the only one from my mother-in-law, but her dad had, I don't know, 4 or 5 other kids, all of them gay. So when I met her brother, he wanted to hook up with some chick. I was like, he's gay. Like, why is he trying to hook up with her? And everybody's like, nah, he's not gay. Like, nah, that motherfucker's gay. Like, gay, like that. You fucking fudge packer gay. And for a long time, nope. And then a few years later, oh yeah, my brother's gay. Like, yeah, motherfuckers, I've been telling you, he fucking thinks it's wrong. And for me, it's so difficult because I'm such a fucking dick and I'm an asshole and I understand that. I don't get it 100%, like when people are just not happy from the beginning. So if you're gay and you hang out with me and just fucking say you're gay and let's get it over with. And like my brother, like, oh my god, my youngest brother, he's gay. He hasn't came out, but like well, not like publicly, like my asshole ass is fucking putting him out there right now.
Not like on a podcast.
Not like on a podcast. But for a long time, I was like, dude, you're fucking gay. Just fucking come out with it. Like, just fucking get this shit over with. I'm not gay, as he's fucking on his 13 fucking thing of hair product and fucking wearing gay people clothing and shit like that. It's just like you're just fucking part of the gays, dude. Just come out with it. Just get it over with. Like let's move on with our lives. But I get it. I don't know what the fuck that has to do with anything, but
well, at this point in 2020, I don't know why anyone would not come out. You know,
right?
It's just like, what are you waiting for?
You're waiting for this.
This is as good as it gets, man.
And if you're part of that shit and you're having second thoughts, like I'd love to talk about that shit. I had this conversation. There was this fucking gorgeous black chick that came to the class on Tuesday, the Pistol 101, and her and some other lady started talking about Cher, I think. No, Celine Dion, and how she came out with this fucking clothing line, and it was their photo out was fucking spooky kids. Like,
it's all flannel.
No. It's their marketing was like in nurseries, hospital nurseries with like demonized kids and shit like that. So they're talking about that. And then she made a comment about how the clothing was non-gender clothing. I was like, I don't know what the fuck that means. And she looks at me and she's like, you don't want to have that conversation. So my rebuttal was to her, like, no, I really do want to have this fucking conversation, but let's just have it on the fucking podcast. Because at that point, I know you're on that side of it. Like, I know you want to talk about gender neutral and all that shit. So for me, it's always nice to have those conversations. So if you are part of the gays that has a hard time coming out with that shit, it'd be I'd like to know like why, what the fears are, what the concerns are.
I have a feeling a lot of it has to do with family. It's really probably nothing.
Fuck them in the butt. Like who gives a shit? Like I know they give a shit because obviously they're doing it. It says Alicia, I'm gay, but your mom doesn't want to tell you about us.
Right for the jugular. Yeah, so I mean, a lot of that stuff is really more about how you were raised than about maybe society in general. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know why more people don't just take control of their own lives as an adult. You know, it's
like you have like zero to lose. Like a lot of people are like, oh, my family's not gonna like me. Like, maybe it's the type of people you don't want on your corner then if they're not going to be, because I get it. Like if Joel came at me, he's like, hey, Dad, I'm a fudge packer. I'd be like, well, you got to give me a year or two to adjust to this shit. But I mean,
I was just listening to Bill Burr's bit about getting into a fight with his girlfriend because he kind of recoiled at watching two guys kiss in front of him, and how his girlfriend got all mad at him about it. Oh my God, Bill Burr is one of the all-time greats.
Yeah, yeah.
The way he can lead you down a path and get you to laugh at something where if he just started out with that, you'd be like, throw this guy off the stage. But he takes you down a path and you're just all of a sudden now you're laughing at something that you just wouldn't have thought you'd ever laugh at, you know?
Yeah.
But he described it as like the first time he ever saw a porno, he was 14. He saw this guy nailing a girl from behind and he said, you know, I want to do that.
Yeah.
That's something I'm going to do in my life, you know? But then 5 minutes later in the porno, he sees some guy licking some girl's feet, and he's like recoils.
Fucking weirdo.
Like it's okay to recoil at stuff, you know. It's like doesn't mean that you want to drag a homosexual behind your truck by a chain.
Yeah.
It just means you don't want to watch it, you know. It's okay.
Yeah.
You need some time to adjust.
Yeah. Same thing. Like you do that with all kinds of shit.
Black
but anyway,
people, or not black people.
Jesus.
And we was also talking about black people.
Yeah.
Gay people get a free pass of getting getting grossed out by straight people kissing in front of them. You know, like he makes this point, like to show a gay guy some pussy. He's like, ugh. That's okay. He gets a free pass, man.
Yeah.
You know,
It's just weird.
it is weird.
Very rarely have I recoiled at that.
Well,
But anyways,
how many times have you seen it right in front of you, though?
vagina?
Oh, I thought you were talking about two.
No, you're talking about
two
vagina.
dudes.
You said vaginas.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. How many times have I seen the weirdest thing about the gay people? Because I've been in plenty of situations. Jesus Christ, this is why a lot of dudes that follow us think I'm gay. Because I've been in plenty of circumstances where, at the gay rodeo,
Yeah.
being there, the
Or the time you saw that guy step on his own balls.
but that wasn't a gay situation.
No, but you still saw it happen.
Yeah. That show was just hilarious. So the weirdest thing and I didn't even recoil. It was just one of those things like, like that's weird. So being at the gay rodeo and watching two dudes kiss and hold hands and stuff like that, for me, that wasn't necessarily weird. Like it just,
It's when it's unexpected. That's when it's weird.
probably. But what was kind of like whoa, holy shit, I never thought about this. Like when they started dancing and they started doing they were holding each other and dancing.
The Mexican cha-cha.
Not even that, just dancing in general, like close together, that's when I was like, didn't really even, that never crossed my mind. Like obviously they hold hands and they kiss and they make butt sex, but like the whole dancing thing, that one was like threw me off a little bit. Like, that's pretty weird. Like who's leading who here? Like it wasn't them kissing, it wasn't them holding hands. That seemed relatively normal. Letitia's uncles are gay. She's gay. Her brothers are gay. My brother's gay. My cousin, I got cousins that are gay. So like for me, that's always been relatively normal to see two the same sex just doing that. But I've had never seen two of them dancing, and that's what I was like.
It's the unexpected. You got to watch out for.
Imagine that. Well, okay, that's it. You've taken sex. You've taken marriage. I draw the line at dancing, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
That is sacred.
That is sacred, especially dancing to Mexican ranchero music.
No. The gay rodeo is not a Mexican rodeo. It's all white people. So
I thought I had it in my mind that this was all a Mexican thing. But if I really think about it, how could they get that many gay Mexicans together at once? Like there can't be that many.
No, there's a fuck ton of them, but for them to all be, there's probably going to be, if it was, gay Mexicans are flamboyant, just as flamboyant as you would expect them to be, dude.
Well, as flamboyant as straight Mexicans. Like straight Mexicans are flamboyant.
Yeah. I
mean, you've seen the boots. We know that they have a flair for the dramatic.
I mean, it just our Mexican fucking John Elton is fucking
Elton John.
Yeah, John Elton. Holy shit, Elton John. This motherfucker was No denying. And if anybody on the chat can tell me who the fuck the Mexican Elton John is,
Oh, is that bonus points, or do you
I
not know?
no, I do know, but whoever can say it in the chat, will give you one of the guns we have left.
Wow.
Yeah.
Some random person we haven't heard from all night is just gonna pop in and say it, and they're gonna have a name like Guadalupe or something like that.
There we go. No prize for anyone now. Juan Gabriel, like there's no, like, look at this. Look at that.
Oh, Josh said Juan Gabriel.
Oh, Josh?
Yeah, he said it right when you said it. Oh, he said it before Joel said it.
He said it before Joel said it.
Dude, okay, Josh, you're gonna have to admit openly. Did you Google
Juan
that,
He Googled that.
or did you know?
Let me see if that comes up. Like, can you fucking Google
Mexican Elton John?
Mexican Elton John? Let me see.
This guy is the Mexican Elton John. Look
Oh,
at his
dude.
picture. Jeez. Oh, he asked Siri. Okay, disqualified. What did you ask Siri? What?
what? Yeah, what do you? Oh no, but it does come up. Look, Juan Gabriel, the Mexican Elton John.
And I want to know, Josh, did you ask that with your wife sleeping in the bed behind you? Is she gonna have a weird dream now about some Mexican Elton John? Say,
Anyways,
Siri, who's the Mexican Elton John?
just like the real Elton John, that motherfucker's badass.
Dude, she's gonna be dreaming about Mexican Elton John. How do you say Rocket Man in Spanish?
El hombre cuete.
Amar el hombre cuatro.
And Juan Gabriel is that motherfucker bad, man. That motherfucker's, in terms of music, he's bad motherfucker. Well, he's dead now, but
Rocket hombre.
Rocket hombre.
I'm a rocket hombre. Okay. All right. Well, it's almost 12:30. We've been cooking pretty good.
But cooking pretty good.
We're coming up on 2.5 hours.
2 hours, 41 minutes and 25 seconds.
Dang. All right. This was fun.
It was good.
I have more to talk about for the AIDS, but we'll do that next time.
Yep.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We do have a Carbine series coming up. Carbine 1 and 2.
Carbine 1 and 2, June 20th and 21st. Sign up for that stuff. It's going to be a lot of pew fun.
It's going to be hot as shit, too.
Very, very mucho hot. A lot of hot. It's going to be good. It's going to be fun. It's going to be outside. It's going to be outdoors. It's going to be in the day. If you guys want to shoot stuff, sign up for that class. It's $100. If you are a co-op member, we're obviously still honoring the discounts and stuff like that. So for those of you that are co-op members, I'm going to say it now because obviously you guys are probably still, some of them are still on. We're still going to find a way on how to make it beneficial and not feel like it's a loss. There's not a lot of them. A few of them are like, well, that kind of sucks that I just paid into it. Like I said, some people we're just going to give them the money back to and tell them we never want to deal with you ever again. And then there's other people that we're going to find a way to make it beneficial one way or another. So.
Yes, and if you are a co-op member, it's another reason why you absolutely have no excuse for not signing up for a class.
Correct.
It's not just you get a discount. Like, you should. There's no excuse.
There's no excuse.
No excuse. So I'm gonna post.
Casey wants any recommendation on optics? Yeah, your eyeballs.
What kind of optics are you looking for? That's the real question. You looking for magnified optics? You looking for non-magnified optics? If you're looking for magnified, look at Vortex. If you're looking at non-magnified, look at the Sig Romeo. That seems to be everybody's favorite. And if you are looking for fixed power, look at the Primary Arms Prism 3X power. That's a pretty good one. All right. Free pie and punch at classes. Yes, absolutely. You get free pie and punch at classes if you bring it. We will give away your pie and punch at the classes to co-op members if you bring it.
If you bring it.
All right, I linked the carbine classes in the Naysayer chat room. Thank you guys, everybody. And if you have any questions about the nitty-gritty details about the break-in, feel free to instant message Edgar on MySpace. He will answer right away.
Right, all right. So it's so funny. I'm going to leave it at this one, and then I promise we're done. So I was like, fuck, man, I don't want to tell Isaac too much because I know as soon as I tell him, he's going to be like, fucking Reddit, this is what happened, motherfuckers. You and your mom are the worst.
We are the worst
secret keepers ever. And then when you tell me, I was like, I already told fucking Nate, Josh, everybody was like, I'm sure you already fucking sent out the message to fucking Massachusetts, and people, your neighbors in San Diego already knows. Shit's hilarious.
Yes. So what
if you guys
I
ever
told
have
you,
if you guys ever have a secret, do not tell Isaac
unless you want everyone to know. But you don't want to be the one who told everybody. I'm like a one-man press release machine. Telephone, telegram, and tell Isaac. So I will say this. What I told you is the extent of the telling I did.
Oh, really?
That's my only defense. I haven't told any more people than the people I told you I told. All right, everybody. Thank you guys for listening. Yes, I do like data faster than Cambridge Analytica.
Who in the fuck needs WikiLeaks? We got.
If you want to tell a secret to somebody, tell it to Wannabe. He doesn't talk to anybody.
He doesn't talk to anyone. Oh, that motherfucker! I put him in the closet. He's ready to come out. Wait,
he's ready to come out.
He's ready to come out. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys. Thanks a lot. Thanks everybody for the support. For the haters that just want to listen to our. It's not even bad times because we're gonna make the best of it, just like we always do. But what's up, haters? Just remember, if you are on this and you're paying attention just to hear, just remember that you are on our podcast, listening to us, trying to get information about us.
And I guarantee you, we're not listening to you.
We're not listening. Well, Isaac probably on Reddit.
Get into the chat room, naysayers, and we'll listen to you a little bit.
Yeah. So just understand that you could be doing something more productive with your life other than trying to see how everybody else fails just because you're miserable. But anyways, motherfuckers, I appreciate you guys. Wash your fucking coochies, your buttholes underneath your titties. You got to get all up underneath them titties.
I reached up to my chest when you said that. I don't know why.
Are they dirty? Are they showing?
He's right. I should.
All right, guys. Peace out.
Peace.
Oh, man.